Oh,
Hello, hello, hello. We are on the air tonight. This is Kev. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. I am one of the habitual line steppers here. And let me do like my homie does on his YouTube channel every time he gets started. All right. 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 So we have a very interesting topic here tonight for those of you who are watching, and for those of you who are not watching, you can watch the replay later on, which is nothing but a YouTube upload anyway. You can watch it anytime you want. But the topic tonight is a very special one because I asked this as a concerned parent, and I want to have some clarity in this subject, and I know it's a very very serious, sensitive subject, and it gets black men heat when we talk about this. But think of us as black men who did not create fucked up situations for other people. That's what I want y'all to know. So the topic tonight is: are the majority of black mothers raising black boys to lead? I will say this: the public and general perception, if you base it off of the behaviors of our current crop, in 2019, I mean, and I base that off all the complaints that I hear. You know what I'm saying? Look me in my eye when I say this, because like if there are that many complaints out there about us black men, then no, we come from you. I mean, I'm not saying that about my mother, of course. I think my mother did just fine with her kids, but I'm just saying all the complaints. I just want to hear it. I want to hear some logical talk on this. With me is the other two habitual line steppers, the Roger Report and Donnie Casanova from You Ain't Shit for Watching. Say, hey, fellas,
What's
give your
going
opening
on?
statements,
What's
please.
poppin', y'all?
all right, folks. This is Roger Stevens of the Roger Report. I am here to bring it with my man Kev Eston. Very good subject to get into, and man, this opens the doors to some very serious conversation that I know we probably will get a little heat for saying this stuff, but
I
it
don't give,
does
I
need to be
don't give
talked
a
about.
goddamn about none of that shit tonight. Seriously, like this shit's ridiculous. It's like it's nothing's good said about black men, and it's just like, yeah. I would like to know what I can do to make it a better place before I start on this little rant here. And Roger, when you heard the topic for tonight, what were you thinking exactly, and how would you answer that question if someone were to ask you that?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking. I'm honestly thinking in management terms. Uh, if you have like one bad employee, that's like a bad hire. Okay, it can happen to
Mm-hmm.
anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a constant, constant, just horrible, bad, trash employees coming in, because that's the type of stuff that's being said about black men. Well, if you got these coming on a regular basis, well, then that starts to go into management. It's not about the employee anymore. It's about management. Who's hiring these people? So if women are saying that the black men they're meeting are no good and they're bad, this is one of two things. Either they're very bad managers because they keep quote unquote hiring the wrong men to be in a relationship with, or black women in general are very bad managers because they are simply doing a very piss poor job of raising men.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say this. I will say this. An exception to the rule would be when a solid black father is there. But even then, it's the dad. I mean, and I'm not, and let's not leave the mom out of it. In that case, she was somebody that was willing to align herself with the right black man to raise the right kind of black child. Now, I'm not saying every two-parent home is perfect, but the ratio of good and bad slightly differ, and it does show that quite often in statistics and numbers. But if you don't want to deal in statistics and numbers, let's deal in like all of your complaints. And you know, it still doesn't paint a good picture for you. And when I say you, is the hit dog mothers who get mad every time they hear commentary like this. You know, like I said, I mean, like people always try to get you to state, not all, not all. Not, I mean, that's no good. We're going to have to discuss this problem seriously. So, Donnie, when
Yeah.
when you hear this question asked or asked to you, do you think that people can honestly get upset when you give them your honest answer?
Uh, the truth hurts. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically, should they? No, but the truth hurts. So
Hmm. Okay, so let's discuss the many aspects of this because you know, like I said, I do topics like this not to I would say quote unquote bash black women. I do these topics in response to narratives, and when I'm on YouTube, it's just like sometimes I guess in some cases if I'm not kind of trolling a little bit, it's like I am in real life. I'm a dad everywhere, everywhere. And for dads to be kind of discredited in the way that we're discredited in this community, there has to be a reaction at some point. And I'm sorry, we are the reaction right now, the habitual line steppers. You care anything about the community, you care about fatherhood and leadership. And without the presence of fatherhood, it seems like, and we hear that fucking shit all the time. We hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that shit all the time. So we know what the problem is. Apparently, now, I mean, I would like for a female perspective to be here. I mean, if y'all know any, invite them to the show. Anyone who may be watching, you know, I'm not going to invite a. I don't want. It's not my intention to invite a troll, but you know, if you up for some serious discussion here, let's have at it. But it's like this is getting old. You know, this is getting real old. Let's start working towards solutions instead of saying this person ain't shit, that ain't shit. Okay. All right. Let me ask y'all a question. Do you think when it comes to that kind of okay, let's put it in, and you know they get tired of hearing this, but they're gonna hear it one more time. Single mom homes. Okay, I'm just trying to establish an environment without the presence of a father. Okay. Do you think that the single moms coddle their boys a little bit too much,
I think mother,
pacify them?
I
You know,
think mothers in general do that. That's why you're supposed to have this balance, right? The father,
balance exactly.
the mother protects the boy. The father throws the boy out into the wilderness for him to get his bearings, get his life together. If you never are thrown into the deep end of the pool and forced to swim, you never learn to swim. Um, that doesn't change when you hit 18. I say it all the time. You don't hit 18 and evolve into a Manosaur like a Pokemon. It just doesn't happen. So you need that balance in your life. A lot of these men don't get balance when they were kids, so they're failures as adults.
Yeah. I agree with that. You know, yeah, I'm not going to go to bat for a soul like that, but I also understand there was a set of circumstances surrounding this person's upbringing. There's that thing called the benefit of a doubt. But with me, it's like that shit can only go so far if you're a grown ass person. That's man or woman. So, um, yeah, Roger.
Yes,
Why,
sir.
why would you think that somebody? Okay, give me your. Okay, this is black me being brutally honest. You know, we're the habitual line steppers. Why would you think that if, say, a woman didn't want that, she didn't want that, she didn't want that presence? Do you think is what she says that, or is it her decision making that says
Well, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to, well, it's her decision making, because we in America we they've gone through so much trouble when it comes to the system to
that?
put women in charge of just about is a man going to be in their child's life or not, it's pretty much up to her. I mean, you can override her will wills if she doesn't will it that way, but it takes a whole lot to do so. So it's pretty much up to the woman on the general level. So if she wants the man there, the man will be there. If she didn't want the man there, the man's not going to be there. That's just the way it is.
All right, all right. I mean, I do believe in the intelligence of women to set themselves up in a situation that allows a man to be involved as a family man. And I will use one example: my wife. Like, yeah, she lived her life according to what she wanted to end up with eventually. And she wasn't going to do this. It like I will say, like, she wasn't going to have a child without a man present and married to her. And that was the standard that she set for herself. And we ran across each other. We were what each other wanted. And she was a woman that set it up to where a man could be there. And guess what? She feels better when I'm at home at night. So there. I mean, I work a late job, kind of, but it's like she's told me, that just saying for the women who quote unquote they elect to be single. This is what a woman says: the benefits of having a man around. I mean, it's security also. Wouldn't you agree, Roger? Like, I'm talking
What?
about security as in like protection for the home itself, rather than
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And, there's a lot of benefits that come with having the right man to come back to the home every day because, you do have that extra protection, and you also get benefits from that man's network. And I know we as black people don't really think about it like this, but our friends and family, that's also your network of people. And anytime someone, like in my family, for instance, if there was a problem, my mother didn't really hire anybody to take care of anything because she was married. You know what I'm saying? So my mother got married to a man who knew how to do some stuff. So if there was a problem, something in the house needed to be fixed, he took care of it. If it's something he couldn't take care of his own way, he needed extra help until he had children that was old enough to help. He had other men that could come in and give him the help that he needed to get the job done. And of course that if one of their wives had a problem, they had that same benefit. So it's a lot of benefits to having a man in the home. That's just what it is. And it's a shame that women don't take advantage of the benefits that come with having a man live in the home.
Let me be a little sharp with this. Um, is it important whether it's a man or a husband?
Nah, husband is far more valuable than just a random man.
Okay. So you say husband or just random man? I mean, he might not even be that random, like a live-in boyfriend, like what they used to call it, or what they call it, common law.
Common law
Hmm.
marriage.
Yeah.
Well,
So.
I look at it, if he's not your husband, he is a random man. He's made no more obligation to you than I have.
Hmm. Yeah, and then like those boyfriend types, I'm not saying, well, I got stories before I got married, but those but those boyfriend types usually get splat. So so I would say that, I mean, like, sometimes wives cheat on husband, all that other crap, but it is more benefit to, I feel like, having a husband around, because you have it's you you can call that a family.
Hmm.
It's easy to call that a family. I'm in a family. That's what I feel like I'm in. I mean, that's me being a little biased because I actually went through with marriage and stuff like that. And here's that's another complaint. Why aren't the fathers there? Why aren't they taking responsibility? Where, I mean, you hear from one. I mean, I'm telling everyone, the viewing audience, um, that you are talking to a man who made the decision to be there, who has a wife who made the decision to be there also. So that would seem simple enough, and I'm not saying it's for everybody. I mean, some people elect to remain single without children, but I just want to see what's best. Putting our what is to put our children in the best situation possible, because it seems like, especially with our boys, that generally we're failing them. I mean, we are really bad stewards of boys. It seems that way. So, I mean, what would you say that is it that they're not being raised to lead per se? Okay. Let's say it as literal as possible. Do they want to raise them to lead?
Honestly, I think at the end of the day, a lot of sisters aren't really trying to raise these boys to lead. To me, as a person that's not married as of yet, but I did have a dad, I understood the value of my mother being married to the man that she had me by. I understood the benefit of growing up in a home where I could talk to my dad on a regular basis, not just every blue moon. You know what I'm saying? I understand the benefits of all those different things. And honestly, if I were to have a child and I was not married to the child's mother, I would take that as a complete failure on my part. Honestly, I view that as an absolute failure. Whatever's going on between me and that woman, we should be able to work something out. That even if it's a like I know people talk about accidental pregnancies and all that. Well, even if you get a person pregnant by accident, if he's a real man, in my opinion, more than likely he will not have an issue marrying you and trying to be a family with you for the sake of that child. Because you're
Right.
talking about two adult people that should be mature enough to get along
It, it
for a
it's
lifetime.
it's the mindset of you made a spill, now it's time to clean it up. So birth control fails. All right, cool. Because what is it? 98%, 99% effective. It's always that 1%, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
understand. We understand that here. So, just for clarity.
yeah. So at that point in time, you need to make it a point or a priority to do one of two things. You need to make sure that you are able to be with this woman long term. Period. Point blank.
Mhm.
So you need to settle down, buckle up, and get ready because this finna be wifey. And
Yeah.
Hmm.
if the ultimate bottom line is you can't be with this person long term, then you need to make sure that you have the best friendship.
Mm.
Because I'll say it, it's just sometimes you can't make everything work. You just can't.
Yeah.
So if it don't work, then you need to buckle down and get into a
I
best friend
see.
situation
Yeah.
and do the best you can. But a lot of times people don't even try to go for the first route of trying to make the marriage work. They try to be in some friendship. What do they say it? Co-parenting. Co-parenting is really bullshit. But
It's a word for failure, if you ask me. It's
what
We
I mean,
can't.
it just is. It just really is bullshit. But sometimes there's nothing you can do but that.
Yeah. So,
well, I just know when I hear people. Well, I just say for myself when I've seen the term co-parenting used, I've u- I've only seen that so far as a term women would use to make it sound better that they had a child out of wedlock and the father was not around. Or you know what I'm saying? Well, no, I ain't gonna say the father's not around. They'll try to explain why they're not with the father because they said they're co-parenting. You see what I'm saying? So like, yeah,
mm,
you when you co-parent, that's like two parents that live in a home and they actually both participate in the raising of that child on a regular basis. When you say co-parent and you talking about somebody who don't even live there, that's not co-parenting. That's like you pick your kid up for the weekend and he kick it with you, and you do the best you can from a bad situation. Because you know what I'm saying, men do try to. There's a lot of men who try to raise and influence their child, but when you only have your child every other week or something like that,
Yeah,
that's a
your
man trying to
child
get
get
the best of a.
deprogrammed in that time.
Well, yeah, my thing is that's a man trying to make the best of a bad situation. Is that truly co-parenting though? I couldn't say all that. Because I know if I only got to see my father every other weekend, you know what I'm saying? As when I was a child growing up, would that be the same? Nah, wouldn't be worth the same thing. It just wouldn't. Now I know that may hurt some people's feelings out there, but I'm just keeping it real. That's not good enough, if you ask me. Yeah, but no, that's not a shot at the men who are actually trying to do the right thing. But people are making it hard for them to do the right thing. I don't think that type of stuff should be going on.
Well. Also, the women who were also we're not also saying it's about the women who were tricked into giving up their treasure to unprotection.
How do you get tricked? Please explain that to me.
Trick to see, maybe he said something about like he had some money or some shit like that, or he drove up in a rental car.
So it wasn't tricked. It was your eyes was bigger than your. Never mind.
He met her in the mall and said, "I'll buy you these shoes." I mean,
okay, so he was hoeing. Let's call it a spade a spade.
I mean, she
if
thought,
you specifically go with a dude,
what she thought,
and sleep with him for the reason that he has money, you was hoeing. Period. Point blank. Now, I don't mind a woman, choosing to do because he's got some power, some influence, some money. That is what it is. Which is saying in the same breath, you don't just throw the pussy and bust it wide open. And nah.
I mean, it's just like this. If we as black men are not leading, I would like to get to the bottom of it. I just can't be like, fuck this nigga. I wanna make the way for leaders to come through. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I want some sincere answers from the people out there. Those people who claim that. Those people who always complain about black men and in all kinds of ways about what black men are saying and what black men are doing. As a black man who I don't know haven't done like 99.8% of that shit they talking about. I just want to know how we can improve ourselves. So I mean,
Well, my thing is, we gotta let women know that. I mean, if they have a legitimate complaint, we can honor that complaint. But now
absolutely.
this is what I tell women, and I know some guys may take it rough, but brothers, it ain't personal. I'm just keeping it real. I tell women this for real. If you are dealing with a man who was raised by a single mother, do not talk. Don't talk to any man like that till he's at least 25 years old. And I say that because when you're raised by a single mother, a lot of times you're gonna miss a lot, even if you have a good mother, because you don't have that male side. You know what I'm saying? So you just miss a lot being raised. And sometimes it's not even intentional. It's not that she even doing something wrong. She can't give you a man's side because she don't have that ability. So I think it's better for a woman to let a man be in the world at 18 to 25. So he's now finally an adult and he's dealing with other adult males. So he can find out about himself, about what a man is supposed to be like, and then make a couple changes here and there. So he can really like grow into manhood. And my thing is he needs that 7 years because he got a lot of BS that he got to throw out and a lot of new stuff that has to come in. He needs that 7 years. So, and I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes, but if you wasn't raised by both parents, I don't think. Well, I'll put it like this: I would never recommend a daughter of mine to date any man that was raised by a single mother that's not at least 25 years old. I'm just not gonna do it. I need 7 years of him being in the real world, getting treated by a man, by other men, so he can have a real understanding of what being a man is like.
Yeah, because when you don't raise them right, you know what you got, fellas. Yeah, you got niggas growing up to do this.
Yeah.
Just doing crazy ass fucking shit, man. Just contacting bitches in the inboxes, flashing them and shit. That's another one of the complaints. Thirsting in inboxes. So but that's somebody else's stick. So
Yeah, niggas do a lot of fuckery.
I mean, it leads to these single mother situations. So, I don't want to be the guy that just gets at the women. I just want to, tell these guys maybe you should stop doing all this crazy shit and stop shooting up on and then these crazy women. So you create a generation. They help create situations like, women that are incapable of teaching people to lead. And that's just crazy. Because if anybody's willing to put themselves at risk like that, it's not a very smart person, period.
That's real talk.
Like, and then like if they're not a real smart person, how can you raise somebody to lead? So, I'm not gonna say we as men because I didn't do that stupid shit. According to motherfuckers like that, because I wear glasses. I was a nerd and I was whack and I wasn't getting any of the girls. So, you know what? I'm not responsible for those single mom situations. I'm responsible for a married mom situation. So I feel like I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. So I can tell people, since I'm an example, do the smart thing. All these bullshit ass social media posts, TV shows. I mean, you try to get a bad image to us. Sorry. I mean, you're raising that.
Well, you know what? Yeah, most guys truthfully ain't even responsible for a single mother situation, and I know even with like a lot of
Please
guys I
elaborate on that. Please elaborate on that for the people that might be, how they are.
well, if you look at the percentages of black men that actually are single fathers, it's not very high. I've seen it estimated about maybe 15%.
Are there
Because a
are
lot
there
of black men. What's
are
that?
there are there websites to confirm this?
Well, I mean, if you look at if you look up different things online, you will see it because the CDC reported on.
National
Uh,
Health and Statistics Report number 52. But go ahead.
yeah,
Say that
but
again. Let's have them say that again so somebody can look it up.
National Health and Statistics Report number 52. They usually update it it goes for about 10 years, but yeah. If you look on that one in particular, it outlines who's having kids, mothers, fathers, married, unmarried, cohabitate. It does a whole lot of shit, and what you get from that report is essentially it's about 30% of black males who are having children out of wedlock. If you, I believe it's 30%. I have to go back and look, but double check. But yeah, it's about 30%, and it's about 60 some odd percent of black women having kids out of wedlock. Um, Basically, that's a majority. That's a problem.
60 help. Let me do this for clarity. So you hear the stat of 72% of them being single mothers. So you're saying right now that it's 60, or
It
is
it's 60. The 72% is it's actually like 78% now. But
uh,
that number is actual for children being born out of wedlock. So to give you perspective, black women outnumber black men. Um,
by a great margin.
yeah, by a great margin. So essentially, what's going on here is these women are sleeping with men who have multiple baby mamas, community dick niggas, having kids by them, and basically taking a ticket and lining up to be a baby mama.
But let's give the benefit of a doubt. What if they just like now I'm just putting out benefit of a doubt scenarios. Because here's one I hear. What if the baby daddy, died, or there's always the possibility of sexual assault, rape. Uh, you know, what the ratio, if I'm not mistaken, for
That's a,
those situations is
it's a
very,
small
very,
percentage.
very small percentage.
Yeah, that's not even really worth mentioning for the simple fact that yeah, it's happened to somebody, but it's not
And
commonplace.
and
It's not an everyday
and
occurrence.
just for clarity, rape is wrong. Rape is very wrong.
yeah,
So
but I
we're
think
not.
when it comes
Ooh,
to
shit.
women having children from rape, I don't think that's even 1% of them. So that's a very very small amount of people, and not that it's right, but that's a very very small amount of people. But even if a woman says, "Well, my baby daddy died," well, at the end of the day, it was your baby daddy, wasn't your husband. Now, if you
But
tell me your husband died, then I understand. But if you tell me your baby daddy died, then I'm looking at you like, well, how are you living your life?
Even then, that's one of those cop out excuses. I seen a chick. She was telling that story. Oh, my baby daddy died. Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So you still was a baby mama. You don't know he was gonna marry you. You just assume that, and you want me to assume that too. The problem with that is we don't know what was gonna happen. What we do
Now,
know is you were a single mother. So even so, that's not a large number of the populace.
I'm
It's
not going
just
to even say we don't know. We do know. He had a baby with you, and he still didn't marry you. He didn't feel you were good enough. That we know exactly what happened.
I've heard chicks say this, and I always ask the same question: did you have a date set? No. Okay, well, there's nothing to talk about here. Did you have a date set? No. Oh well, shit. What you want me to do?
Well, my thing is, if and this is just what I tell women, you know what I'm saying? Because I know stuff can be hard, but at the end of the day, if you value yourself and you value your womb, especially in the climate that we live in here in America now, the smart thing for you to do is to not give a child to a person who is unwilling to marry you. You know, and I understand they're gonna have sex and all that stuff anyway, no matter what I say. I do get that. But you don't have to give somebody a child just because you're having sex with them. So why don't you just withhold the baby until you get married?
I mean, we're not saying don't have sex. I mean, just do if that's going to be the complaint, do what you can and not have a baby.
Well, my thing is now I'm gonna say if you don't have the discipline, don't have the sex. But if you feel I mean, if you're gonna do the sex anyway, just don't have the baby because at least that don't cut off a lot of men in your future. Because at the end of the day, some men are simply gonna write you off if you have any babies at all. Period. That's just a reality. Ain't nothing we can do about that.
But you know what though? There are those divorcees and there are the widows. So I mean, I wouldn't say that a widow get written off completely.
Let me say this.
No. I'm just saying some men are. I'm not saying all men, but there are some men. If they find out you had a baby already, they're going to write you off. It's just ain't nothing you can do about that.
There's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy to women, right? So they want to group these women in as single mothers. They're not, but we'll just play the game for now. There's a hierarchy. If you are a widow, you are at the top of this hierarchy because your husband, the man you had married, died unexpectedly. I feel sorry for you. I understand that you did things right, but you're now single. There's nobody in your child's life. So if I so choose to step into your child's life, I'm going to be the only male figure, possibly giving guidance, and I get the added bonus of a wonderful wife, right? Then you have the divorcee. Who knows why y'all got divorced, but you still got married. So I'm going to give you the credit for what you did. That's credit where credit is due. Then you have the single mother. The single mother, it was a chick who basically got pregnant by a nigga that she didn't know. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, and this is their spade.
A lot of these chicks be trying to play the game. You got pregnant by a nigga you didn't really know that well.
Well, I mean, even if she knew him well, you know, she still decided on it at the end of the day. So my thing is, I can't give you no slack.
Oh, but see, the thing is though, how did I run into so many women that asked me in a polite manner, "Do you have a condom?" And if I didn't, it did not go down. If I did, it did go down. I mean,
you know what?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you know what? And I gotta correct myself because I was just about to say I ain't never had a woman ask me if I had a condom, but I have to correct myself. I do remember one woman did ask me if I had a condom, but she was just asking. I don't even know why she asked me because every time we were together, I had one.
Nigga, I have a flashback to a chick out. Man, I was a kid. We called her Jessica Rabbit. The bitch was bad. I mean, she was bad. She probably a model right now. She was bad. She knew she was bad. I knocked her down, but before it happened, it was time I caught her at the crib, And she was talking reckless. She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna let you beat it up." Da, da, da. Get to the room. I throw her on the bed. Do you have a condom, nigga? I ran through that entire house looking for a condom. She goes, if we got to go to the store and go get one, we're not having sex tonight. I said, what?
Oh.
Oh, hurt my whole soul.
So you be on your computer that night. The Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Besides that, like,
Yeah, I was sick.
hell no.
But that night could not smash because
I
I didn't
couldn't
have a
do it,
condom. I was
man.
sick.
I mean, and then, for her to even say something like that, that's a huge fucking red flag right there. It's like that would say to me that you might be trying to pull something. And after which, if I decide to go through with it, it's nobody but my fault because that flag was thrown up. I can acknowledge that. But at the same time, it's still fucked up.
It's a whole lot going on. Whole lot. Here, so let me ask you. Well, let me ask you this: do you think that the average American woman, we're talking black woman, but average black American woman, has devalued the father figure to the point to where she thinks a man isn't necessary in the household because of what reason? I'll say that because what reason do you think that she? Because we it's pretty much confirmed at this point. Everybody on the panel thinks this. What reason do you think that she doesn't need a man in the house? What is the reason she's going to give? Should I say?
I would say is I would say that she doesn't want to give up the leadership role in the house. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want compromise. She wants total control of the situation, especially with. I mean, if she gets a man that ain't shit, I mean, she still has a lot of the control because she has a child. But if you're working with a good brother, like I said, women have to, with a good brother with together that's together, they have to actually already be on that level. They got to level up, and that right there warrants some submission of control to him. So, and that's definitely, if you don't want that presence, you're definitely not doing what's best for the child. Period. So,
What about
That's
you,
real.
Roger? What do you think?
Well, I'd have to agree with Kev. At the end of the day, the women are just trying to control their situation, and they want life to go exactly the way they want it to go, and that's why they go out their way to have a child by a nigga that they feel is already compromised in some kind of way, and they have the baby because they know the court system is going to be pretty much slanted against him, and they can have rule in the household if they even can get the nigga to live in the house with her. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're trying to get what they don't feel they already have, and they want legitimate love where it comes. They want this unconditional love because a lot of sisters don't like conditional love because in reality, when it comes to relationships, that love is conditional. You know, you will be loved as long as you're doing X, Y, and Z. But when you won't do X, Y, and Z, then we're gonna move on. That's where you get breakups and divorces from, because people don't just throw out unconditional love like that. So she's trying to create a situation where she can get unconditional love, and that's only gonna come through the child. It's not gonna come through the man. And because she doesn't want to give up any leadership about her life or anything that or whatever her choices are, she'd rather have a child by a man that is in a compromised position than a man that's on the square.
okay. Okay. I was thinking about that whole attention thing you just said, Roger, because I literally dated a chick that broke up with her previous boyfriend that because he showed more attention to his child at an amusement park than her. True story. True story. And
Well, I
her
can
name,
easily believe it.
yeah, her name was Grace. She was no one's saving grace. at all. Like that was the most spoiled shit I had ever heard in my life. But eventually, it didn't work out, and it was for the best. Because I
You got
mean,
to choose your child over. Automatically, you got to choose your child over
that's
any
right.
person secondary to your relationship. That's why it's hard for single people to date, single people with no kids to date people with kids, because you have to understand this person has to really choose you over that child. And what's sad is a lot of these women and a lot of these dudes don't choose their children over they partner. But you're supposed to typically choose the child over everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, you got single mothers out here saying that if you date me, the child come with it. It's a package deal. I mean, and it's true, and that's got to be true in the case of the single father too. It's a package deal. So, of course, since that child was there first, you're the one that's got to come up for that. And for a lot of single people, like for real, it's not really fair to ask them of that. I mean, unless they put themselves in that situation, of course. But I mean, it's like initially, it's not fair to really ask them of that since they don't have a child themselves. And if they want to go that route, they can. But if a single person says, "Hey, I don't want to date a person with a child," it's their choice. I mean, and it's like this. If you can use the Shanika argument all day, say no to single fathers, but we're asking. I'm sure that single men who don't want to date single mothers are asking the same security. The same courtesy. So that's all I'm saying. It's not a hate thing. It's not a hate thing. It's just a standards thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like people hate the word standard. Let go ahead, Roger.
nah, I was just gonna say, well, a woman saying say no to single fathers. Now, because I know who the person is, I know that was just a response of a lot of brothers saying no to single mothers. But even if it is just a response, I'm not gonna say it's a bad response, because at the end of the day, if you want a man in your life to help be a part of your children's life or whatever the case is, well, see, in my opinion, you should be looking to get married at that point. Because why do you want to keep? And I know people don't really think about this, but these kids are going to grow up one day and they're going to be smart and they're going to think about stuff. And every man that you date, once you have a child, this child is going to grow up and realize one day, all these people slept with my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally think that's not a good thing, that a child can grow up, when he get into high school or college and start realizing all these dudes that hit my mama. I
Nigga,
don't
it's
think
it's
that's a good
it's a
thought for
weird
them to have.
it's a weird conversation when you have dudes who have or women who have multiple baby daddies. You got 4 baby daddies. I got questions for you, because every kid has a roast session when they in school. Nigga, the first thing out of my mouth is when I figure that out is like, nigga, you got 3 brothers and none of them niggas look like you. Nigga, you mismatched. Your mama was a hoe. First thing coming out my mouth. So yeah, you don't. Why would you do that shit to your child?
Hey, y'all, we got a comment, y'all. We got a comment
What's the
Okay.
comment?
from Noctur Morvros. That's literally this guy's name, Noctur Morvros. Noctur Morvros says, "Black chicks like white boys." Okay, I don't know the race of this guy, so I can't really comment on I can't really say something like, so black chicks don't like you. But I mean, that can be another conversation. The disparity of how women, but our black women treat white dudes as versus how they treat black dudes. So that can be that's not this conversation, but you
Yeah,
know,
I
but
think it's a legitimate comment. This is not in the context of this
I've
conversation, but it
heard
is a
this
legitimate
conversation
context.
come. I've heard these words come out of black women's mouth. I treated him differently because I felt like he wouldn't be able to handle all of the stuff that normally goes on. So I treated him a little different. I said, "You did what now?" And at that point, it was a longer conversation. But I've been having this conversation for the past 2 days, especially online. I
You know what I'm gonna
want
say?
black women to
I'm
understand white dudes are not out here really checking for you. There's a few, but it's less than 1% of them.
I'm surprised you actually. Right. Well, I'm not gonna even say that. No, I am kind of surprised that a black woman actually admitted that to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised she thought it, but I'm surprised she admitted it, that she would treat them better or treat them quote unquote different
But you know,
than
you
she
also
treats black guys.
but you also have a lot of them saying that they treat them better than we treat them. How do you respond to that? Because I know how I respond to it. I mean, if you can find a man that treats you the way you want to be treated, you know, number one, I hope you're returning the same to him. Which, if you're that kind of person with that degree of narcissism, then it's not likely. But I mean, if you can find what you consider the perfect man, which that could be perceived differently. Some women can think a pushover is the perfect man. Some women think that a man beating her ass is the perfect man. You know what I'm saying?
There's some
That's
dudes out here
true.
that'll let a woman step all over them. A lot of them tend to be of a certain caucasity.
Mhm.
I think that's what they mean when they say that. Because, like my woman, we had an argument not too long ago. She tried to play me over. We'll just go with X. I think I looked at her and I was like, "You got to be quit kidding me." She felt some type of way. I walked away. She brought it up again later. I said, "I'm not going to keep playing this game with you." We had the conversation. I'm done. I walked away. She got mad. She did a whole bunch of huffing and puffing. I stayed on my square. Um, she had to let the argument go. She's fine. She's good, just as sweet as ever. But you just not finna step on me. I was like this before you met me. I was like this when you met me. What you want?
No, I feel you. I feel you. Now I'm gonna say in response because you will hear the women say, "Well, white men treat them better." Okay, well, I'm gonna put it to you. I'll do it like this. Well, if white men treat you better, if you can get one to marry you, knock yourself out. That's number one. Because I don't see them marrying y'all. So, am I supposed to really believe that? No, there's no evidence of that happening on a general level. Maybe you found this one out of a billion, but you know, on a general level, no, that's not happening. Number two, if he treats you better, who cares? You're interested in a white man. Therefore, why should I even be interested in you in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Your
Mm-hmm.
loyalty is toward them. It ain't toward us. So why do you even count at this point? You really don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Yeah. Number three, um, you know what I'm saying? If you feel a white man is good, hey, live and die with that decision. You know what I'm saying? My thing is go to the white side, stay over there, and don't come back crying about how it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Just stay over there because I mean I hear all that type of stuff, but it's so many sisters who date white men, then they come back to black men talking about all this black power stuff and black people men we're so loyal to you and all this. Like man, I don't even pay no real attention to all this type of stuff. I just be like, man, go ahead with that. Ain't nobody trying to, ain't nobody really trying to hear that. And because I already know how white people are in general, and they have a reputation for being a terrible group of people. And I'm not saying all white people are bad, but on a general level, white folks done cemented their reputation as being a horrible group of people. They kill, steal, and destroy. That's what white folks do on a general level. They've done it so many times in history, it's ridiculous. They don't really respect a lot of other people. That's why they have been able to achieve some of the stuff they have achieved because they don't respect others. So if you want me to believe that this group of people who goes around terrorizing folk found you and they treat you extra special, hey,
Mhm.
if that's your story, stick with it. That's all I'm gonna say. I,
Yeah,
I ain't even
yeah.
got no hate for you.
But they always post that Serena Williams article though. That's their evidence. That's their lining in the sand.
Serena Williams is gonna have a horrible divorce from that man. That man is he runs Reddit. Um, Reddit is low key a white supremacist meeting place. So it's not gonna work out.
Who say you who gonna initiate that divorce? You think Serena really finna say I want to divorce this man after
What
all
you
she went
you
through to get
think,
a white man?
Roger Fred is gonna be a Crystal Carrington situation? That's what you think?
No, I'm just saying real
Yeah.
talk. It's I don't care what that
Remember,
dude do.
they
I'm pretty
uplifted
sure.
they
Oh,
they
go ahead, Doc.
uplifted Janet. Yeah, they uplifted Janet. Oh, Janet went out. Janet can go get him. She got a billionaire. Ooh. And then they not gonna get a divorce because if he get a divorce, he got to give her 500 million. And da, 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 da. When the reports came out of them niggas divorcing, yo, he was basically shitting on her the whole time. Your mama sick, bitch. So what?
Wow.
He was bringing bitches in the house like he didn't give no single fuck. And what happened when they got a divorce? Well, she gonna get her 500 million. No, she didn't. That bitch didn't get a dime from that nigga. He gave her a little. I take that back. He gave her some
Oh,
money.
oh,
He didn't give her no half his
it
wealth.
was it was 250 million reported. She didn't get it.
He was supposed to give her half of
He
his
ruling the
billion.
country.
Half of his billion.
Oh, that's 500
No.
million.
She didn't even come close to that. They had an agreement, and if my memory is correct, I believe the agreement was like 50 million if she has his child, and they together for like 5 years, and then
5
soon
years.
she completed the 5 years and had the baby, and I believe she walked away with 50 million, but that was the agreement. So at
That's
the end of the
chump change.
day,
So he wrote down on paper he was gonna give her 500,000, half of his wealth. That
I
nigga
don't
had some
this is what
Dakota
I'm saying.
ass exclusive.
I don't know nothing about him saying he would ever give her half his wealth. I'm saying he gave her 50 million. The agreement was you have a baby and we stay married for at least 5 years. I'll give you 50 million. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you 50 million for your trouble. She did that and they got a divorce. She was supposed to get. But I never heard anything about him ever agreeing or even coming close to agreeing and getting giving her half of anything. And then my thing is like, to my understanding, he was the ruler of that country or something like that.
Mhm.
So my thing is, who's gonna take his money and give it to her?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, she getting what he give her, and that's it.
Uh,
Yeah, so I'm gonna send you the link. So basically, I'm gonna send you the link. So basically, yeah, Janet Jackson fiance guarantees her $500 million if they divorce. Now this is
But see,
pre-divorce.
this is the
Um,
thing. The Janet situation is very different than the Serena situation. Because in the Serena situation, Serena got more money than the white guy.
no, I don't think
so
so. I think she got some endorsements. That man owns Reddit and a couple other. He deals with a couple other companies. So I think
No,
while
but
his
you know
money
what?
is
But
corporate, does Janet own her catalog or no?
that I couldn't tell you. But I'm gonna say this: when they was getting married, I seen reports that dude was worth about 1.8 million, and she was worth, I think, it was like 250.
I mean, that is Serena Williams.
And then if he owns a corporation, he knows how. I'm pretty sure he knows how to put his money and attach it to other stuff outside of
He
himself.
might
Because a lot of
if,
people do that.
if one of his projects work, he might catch up to her soon. That's the way the system is set up to work for them. But it's I don't know if he has as much money as her.
Yeah, but I'm saying even if he does, I'm pretty sure he knows how not to put it in his own name. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying? Because when your corporation owns it, that don't have nothing to do with your divorce. You just so happen to be the person that runs the corporations and determine where the corporation's funds go to. But technically, that's not your money. You feel what I'm saying? If you have
Yeah.
a home, this home may belong to this home may belong to the company that you happen to be the owner of, but the home belongs to this particular company. You see what I'm saying? Or if it's like a corporation or whatever, this home you happen to live in belongs to this corporation. If this car you drive is a corporate car, this car is for the person in our company that does X, Y, and Z. You see what I'm saying? So you can really had a lot of money where even if you do go through divorce, it doesn't have to be put up when it comes to divorce. You can get that money back later. And if you on the what you call it, the board of directors and things like that, they know how to play with all the little laws to make sure you straight until your divorce is over with.
Yeah, they manipulate the text team because my thing is if I get a divorce, nigga, well, I'm finna write it off. I'm finna give my money off to a family member I know I can trust. I'm not gonna have shit in my account. And what you gonna say to me?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So if Serena get a divorce, I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. 'Cause not only would she lose money, but at the end of the day, it comes to image. She wanted a white man so bad that she got a white man that wasn't even doing as well as her. You see what I'm
So,
saying? No,
so,
not even
so,
close to it.
so what's the off chance that they met each other and then it's just sparks flew and it was star crossed and
I
From my
seriously,
understanding, with Hollywood, they do a lot of publicist meetings. So the publicist will hook you up. Hey, listen, I know such and such is looking for a date. Why don't we have them seen out in public together? I mean, at some point they was probably around somebody and it popped off. Um, but I'm just real confused how she went from Common to Drake to Alex Ohanian.
Yeah.
well, see, this is my thing. According to my understanding, and I believe they might actually do a picture about this guy or a docu series or something. But her father was always against his daughters marrying white men.
Because Venus was a white man too, ain't it?
I don't know who she's with, honestly.
Let me look this up.
Well, you got to think they from
I
Compton.
mean,
So
it's not like I
he got
care.
up every day and took them, way to put them in tennis to make sure that they was stars, to make sure
Yeah.
that his daughters was going to be great, and it didn't happen that great.
Well, I mean, the tennis part worked out for him, but my thing is like, if he was that against her marrying a white man, I don't think at the end of the day that number one she's gonna get a divorce because she already gonna have to deal with issues with her own father. Like, okay, you married that white man, now you get a divorce, plus you got to pay him. Then when it comes to her public image, you see what I'm saying? Y'all know how black women act and praise other sisters for dating a white man. So she ain't gonna get no divorce from that white man. Say this white man thought she wasn't good enough. I don't see that happening. She'll sit there in a loveless marriage first. That's just what I'm personally betting on. Now, I don't know her personally. That's just my personal bet.
It can very much happen because you know what, Eve wasn't like that. Now Eve ain't married to that dude. That dude made sure Eve shut off all that shit. You don't see that bitch on social media. You don't see her on the Real Housewives and nothing. Eve is quiet in the church mouth.
But Eve got divorced?
Nah, I don't think she was ever married to that dude.
You say they never were married to begin with?
Yeah, I don't think he's married. He's like a prince or some shit, or a count or some shit like that. He got money. He got buku dollars. You don't hear from Eve? When you hear from Eve?
I mean, usually any sister dated to a white man in those positions, she ain't finna say too much to nothing when it comes to white men.
Shut
She
the
gonna
fuck
say
up,
something.
nigga.
It's gonna be
Fuck
about
you.
a
I got
black
a
man.
whole. I got the paparazzi waiting. Yeah, listen, I don't give a fuck if your nigga ass was rapping. Man, listen, shut up. hey. Real Housewives here. Sit your ass down.
Yeah. But I think, but getting back to the subject, you know what I'm saying? I would have to say that when it comes to what these sisters are doing, uh, that I can't give them credit for raising good leaders, because if they were raising these quote unquote good leaders like that, then
But
if
but
it
but
well, if,
let's clarify the definition of leader though, because it's like I guess their definition of leader is like a guy who no matter what he does in his life, a guy who stands up for them online on social media. I think that's them as a leader. I mean, let me get a definition up so I can show everyone.
well, I was just gonna get into a little bit of that myself, because my thing is, at the end of the day, the guys that are learning how to be men, which I think has a lot to do with what they're doing after they're grown, they not operating the way these single mothers wanted them to, and they not going for a lot of stuff that they've been told to go for. Because if they did, you wouldn't have so much contention between black women and black men. Because men from a large group, they don't seem to respect single mothers like that, because they're not marrying them like that.
I mean, respect. What do you mean? Like, is this external respect? Is this is this I would say attacking another black man online?
No, I mean, I mean, they have a respect for women in general, you know, but when it comes to who they're going to pick to be with, they're not really picking single mothers. So
Why would you?
if a single mother raised a boy, yet he grows up and he's still not picking a single mother to be his wife. You see what I'm saying? Like they're not really following what the single mothers are teaching
All right.
on that narrative.
Yeah. Mm.
The ones who are really following them are the more troubled men who end up just having kids all over the place themselves, creating more single mothers. He's technically a single father, whether he's involved with the child or not. You know, the guy's having trouble staying out of jail. The guy's having trouble, you know, being productive citizens. Those are really the guys that seem to be following more of the single mother narrative. But a lot of guys don't seem to be following it.
hmm.
Damn.
Well,
Man.
Roger, can you take a look at the screen for a second?
Oh yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking.
Now look at these bullet points right here. If okay, as a parent in general, but just let's relate this to the subject matter. If these talking points are not really your goal, then your goal is not to raise a leader. Period. Because I agree with this shit. And like I said, and look at the last few words. Separate good leaders from a bad one. I do disagree with that part because there are no bad leaders. Like seriously, it's like if you take the context of the word leader seriously. So I mean, really, I would just basically say the qualities of a good leader. Now, okay, let me ask you if you agree with these, and if any of these words that's on the screen right now, let me blow that up a little bit. If any of these words jump out at you at any point when we were talking about them, just go ahead and share, your thoughts.
Honesty and integrity.
All right, honesty and integrity. Yeah, and I mean and if you don't have that, this is what really just leads you into a lot of these fucked up situations. And I would say that if you don't share in that quality, how can you share? How can you expect your kid to pick up on it? Well, I mean, like not, and there are the exceptions. Let's go ahead and say that. Um, what about you, Roger? Any of these?
Well, honestly, to me, it's like the honesty and integrity jumped out to me at first too, because my thing is if you don't have the honesty and integrity, how you gonna lead somebody else in the first place? You know what I'm saying? So like you were saying, there, how can you be a good leader and you're not trying to have honesty or integrity? Like if we can't trust you when nobody else is looking, it's a whole lot of stuff you can't get done if
Yeah.
that's not a part of your character.
Mm.
Yeah. Now I understand nobody's perfect and people make mistakes, but from a general rule, you're supposed to be trying to do what's good. So you need honesty and integrity to be trying to do what's good in the first place.
Yeah, because it's no worse than a shady ass backbiting motherfucker that tries to act like they are on your side in your face. Those are the worst fucking kind, and they're being dishonest with you. So those two tie in honesty and integrity. Um,
Yeah. Can I do a side note? One of the things I feel like on this list is full of shit bullshit. Creativity, innovation, not so much, but creativity is bullshit because if you are a leader, you are able to lead people, right? So
yeah,
you can to people who are much more creative. That is your designation as a leader. You see the people on your team see their strengths and weaknesses. Doesn't mean that you are all encompassing. And if
yeah,
I put you 100% at every level, at every you're not, but you need to be good at spotting. So this person might have more creativity than me. So I'm going to put them in a position to use that creativity to for me. Period.
yeah. I'll put it like this: we're all leaders in our own right, and when I say we're all leaders, I'm talking about the guys on this panel. Um, it's like we play off each other's strengths. and we hide the weaknesses rather, if there's any. I mean, I'm sure we'll have that discussion, if any. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to be everything to everyone. It's like we just have to have the ability to, I guess I would say, put things in the right direction. You know.
And let me say this too, as well, about this list, because I understand this is obviously just one person's ideal of things to make someone a good leader, but you can't agree with
Yeah,
everybody's everything.
yeah. Because this is Google right here. This is a Google list right here. I should have
Yeah,
mentioned that first. This is a Google list because good communicator. Good communicator is it's so vague and so wide because good communicator is like it all depends upon interpretation. It's like in 2019, good communicator to them is somebody who's nice and who's sensitive to everyone's feelings, and that's not what the fuck I be talking about.
yeah, that's
Because
not being a leader at all.
because according to a lot of people's definition, good communicator don't include brutal honesty. No. Wait a minute. Good communicator, as far as the framing of our community, isn't supposed to include a black man's brutal honesty. You say it's so fucked up. You say it fucked up, but it's the truth. And I mean, like, and people don't hold back with us, so why should we hold back with anybody else? I would say effective communicator would have been a better choice of words because
Much better.
because effective communicator is not exact. It's not exactly. Uh, it's not going to be good, benevolent all the time, but necessary. Effective is necessary as far as communicating.
Well,
Necessary is effective.
well, I mean, you're correct, and that's why I question a little bit of who made this list, because honestly, like the honesty and integrity jumped out right away,
Mhm.
but the problem I just saw was the second one, inspire
Inspire
others.
others.
Now, and I'm gonna say this because there's a lot of people who truly don't understand leadership out there.
Yeah.
And when you say inspire others, it sounds like this great grand thing that every leader should be able to do and all that. But truth be told, a leader, if you're an actual leader, you have no concern with whether you're inspiring others or not. A
The,
real leader is going to do what needs to be done because he has made an estimate that it simply needs to be done. And a leader will go by himself. He doesn't need a crowd to go with him. And if you're the type of person that needs somebody a crowd to go with you or someone to cheer you on, then you're really not a leader. So you may not inspire anybody in some particular thing that you see that needs to happen. You should simply do it anyway.
yeah. Absolutely. You do what's necessary for the good of the body. And and I'll tell anybody in a heartbeat, I'm not here for your feelings. I'm not. If pacifying your feelings is not what's best for the group, I'm sorry. And I've said that in the group many times. I'm not here for your feelings. It's like people have their different definitions of inspiration. And if I am to inspire you, that's a plus for me. But it ain't something that I look to do in order to get the job done. If I inspire you, great. But I feel like that
Right.
when I'm saying that, when I say something like I'm here to inspire others, I'm putting myself on a pedestal, and there are going to be more so people than less that's going to say, who the fuck does this guy think he is?
Well, I
So
mean, my thing is you got to really. I mean, I wonder who even came up with this list, honestly, because because like it's like one of the things that on the surface it may sound good, but when you actually look into what it's saying, I, some problems jumped out at me right away. I just say that, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the second one I seen a problem immediately. Because if you can't lead without inspiring others, then how you gonna get anything done?
yeah, people
Because
looking
there's
to
always gonna be
inspire.
somebody that's gonna have a problem with what you're doing.
You're
Who are
looking
you
to
trying to? Oh, go
looking
ahead. Go ahead.
looking to inspire instead of just inspiring people anyway. And I mean, like, it's a plus, it's an amenity, but that's not the goal at the end of the day. I mean, my goal is not to inspire you. My goal is to do what's best. And sometimes doing what's best is gonna piss people off.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, this I mean, honest, this looks like some feel goodery fluff stuff.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like
Well,
they just threw a couple decent things in to let the BS go to get accepted. So yeah, this is not a list I would write or agree with. You
yeah,
know,
because delegation and empowerment. You associate the word empowerment with what automatically. It's just you hear it, when it's in the framing of feminist empowerment.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's
Yeah.
really something to come up with women, and you know what? This list, honestly, I just feel like a woman did actually come up with it.
But but
You know
but
what I'm
but but,
saying?
but two of these shot up, like, for if it is fluff, two of them shot itself in the foot. And I actually kind of agree with this. Yeah, it does take good. They should have put good decision making capabilities. And that A word, we say that shit all the time. In order to be an effective leader, you have to be accountable for at
Yeah,
least your own actions. At least your own actions.
yeah,
If they affect somebody in a negative way, if you did it, yeah, be accountable for it. And especially when it comes to these children, that's the ultimate accountability right there. You can't, if a child is exposed to you 24/7, single or not single, shit, you have to be accountable for that. You have to be accountable for what you expose your child to. And if you expose them to some fuck ass shit, guess what? They're gonna get some fuck ass ideas.
and you know what? Let me say this about this list too. Honestly, I feel like this list was written by somebody that's not a leader.
No, not at all. Because I mean, I think leaders just do. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
this it don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings out there, but if your
oh,
feelings is hurt,
you
I'm
hurt
totally.
Google's feelings. You gonna hurt Google's
No,
feelings.
no, no, no. But somebody put the list
Oh,
together. But what I was going to say, if I hurt your feelings, I'm still totally fine with it. Um, but at the at the end of the day, like I done been around too many leaders that this list is just ridiculous to me because it didn't even strike me as like a great list. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been around too many leaders. Like this is garbage to
okay,
a
okay,
certain
okay,
degree.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, we're gonna pick out a leader right now. Who do you consider to be a good leader, so to speak, as far as a black man? Because, like, I don't care about other communities. Who you think is a good leader for black, like, as far as black men?
As far as black men, my thing is you automatically go to your father first.
Yep.
The father is your leader.
Hmm. Yep. And my father was a good one too. He kept us alive. I would say that. Number one, he kept us alive and he made us responsible. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he was dad. He's a person that I call dad. I would never take that from him. Period.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, my thing is that if you think about leaders and you don't automatically go to your father, you messed up already from the first place.
yeah,
You're a person with a lot of problems. That's all I can say.
yeah.
That should be like instantaneous.
Mm.
Your father is your first. You know what I'm saying? That should be the first person that comes in your mind is when it comes to leadership. And if your father is not a leader, you need to come up with somebody that is.
Go to somebody that is, or at least
Yeah,
have been exposed to somebody that was or is.
yeah.
You know.
And I don't want to come off like I'm laughing at people because I feel sorry for you if you didn't have a good father because I actually know the value of having a good father.
Yeah,
I
me
know a
too.
lot of people don't, and I can tell because they say a lot of stuff like, well, good male role models or a father figure. When people who overuse those terms, I can tell you didn't have a good father. So
Mhm.
I kind of feel sorry for you, but there's nothing that can replace a good father. You
Nothing.
just can't do it.
Nothing. And we're talking about father here. Yeah, that was redundant to say, but hey, you know what? Now I'm not gonna look at this other stuff. Stop the screen share. Boom. All right, guys. Donnie. I see Donnie left the conversation.
He just dipped. I don't know if he got kicked out or what, but something just happened to him.
Yeah. I hope. Shoot, I hope he come back. But it may be time for him to go. Like it's maybe time for us to go anyway. But I mean, it's just like there's something that we're gonna start getting off our chest, and it's just it needs to be said. Period. I'm like for people who have had bad experiences. I mean, I understand. I understand. And that's the little part of the empathy that you feel like that I may not be showing. But when you hear that conversation, come up, it's always a question of who hurt you, who hurt you, just and that's why I like to ask for a lot of these women. Unfortunately, for the black boys that we feel like we're failing, a lot of the answer is like their mother. And I mean, if someone doesn't want to visit that problem, then it's like we can't effectively solve any of that. Now, if you want to say that, it's the father not being there, then maybe we need to start teaching young people that to set themselves up in a situation to where a father can be there for their child. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, I don't feel like that without a father or without some kind of male presence. And I'm not gonna say some kind of male presence because, like, people be acting like, oh, his basketball coach. No, not the basketball coach. No, what the fuck y'all talking about? Like, shit. Like, if he that much of a leader to your child, all he basically trying to do is fuck the mother. Now, that may not be totally fair to say, but I mean, for real. Like, come on. Like, if y'all ended up in all these little situations like that with all these kids, hey, a lot of that fucking is going on. So,
Well, a lot of them don't say who they child's father is. So that's actually something very logical. You can come to a conclusion like that because there's a lot of them that just will not say who the father of their child is because they say they don't know. How you not know who the father of your child is? I know it can happen in a very small percentage of women, but I mean, how many dicks is y'all taking to really not really know who the father of your child is?
yeah. I mean, not the ones that don't know yet. Now that's a goddamn shame. Like, I mean, at least know who he is. I mean, if he did, Maury Povich wouldn't have a show. I mean, I just go ahead and say it like that. But you can't always use celebrity examples. You got to use the examples you see in real life. And I can tell you this, I can see a lot of that in real life too. I
Well,
mean,
I just view that as women not wanting to admit who their child's father is. I don't think it's just that they don't really know. They just don't want to admit who it is. But I think the ones that don't know is just the ones who like they was part of a threesome or a gang bang or something like that, and they got pregnant during the gang bang. You know what I'm saying? Now they may not know who exactly their father is. They have a rough idea maybe, or someone who just like they just straight a hoe for money. Like they just out here tricking for money with any
it's
nigga.
just,
Like I'm
it's
just saying, I get those women not knowing who the father is. I get that, but for you to literally say you don't know who the father of your child is, like I mean, come on, how many dicks are you
no,
taking raw? You know who your child's father is. You just don't want to
I mean,
admit
that's a shitty situation, though, man. If you can't say nothing else about that. If you don't know who the nigga is,
it. Well,
oh,
I'm saying I get it when it's a prostitute. I get it if you say, well, I was in a gang bang, so I don't know which nigga did it, or I just be having sex on every day with just random niggas. I get those women. They just out there too raw with it. But I'm saying the average woman's claiming she don't know who their baby dad. She know who it is. She just don't want to say.
mm,
See, I'm giving them credit. I'm giving them credit that they just ain't all of them ain't just out there wild like that. So I think they really do know. They just don't want to say who it is.
mm.
You know. or they don't want to admit who that guy is. You know. Now, why they don't want to admit, hey, that's their business. But come on, unless you having sex time and time again with a bunch of random niggas with no type of break, there's no way for you not to know who your child's father is.
No, I mean shit. My wife know who her child father is. I'm just saying. I mean, it only makes sense. Look, whoa! Wait a minute. We got Joe from BMT joining us right now. It's been a long time, guy. How you doing?
Nothing too much. What's going on? What's going on, guy?
Oh, nothing. Shoot. So how's that fight going with socialism?
Actually, it's going actually really good. Shit. I mean, politics is funny as fuck. Watching, watching a lot of socialists on those damn platforms.
Yeah.
They'll say one thing about black people, and then they'll get on a black people's radio station and they'll sit there and eat that shit, and then go do another show and then say, "I'm not giving y'all niggas reparation." But that shit be having me all jokey. But until black, that's just a whole nother talk. Like I said,
Okay.
but
Well,
what's the topic? What's the topic on?
What's the top? What's the
This
topic? I just want to say this before the end. What's even funnier than watching socialists on platforms is reality television show stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's been a ride. And I mean,
Yeah.
and then of course, it made somebody president. It was very effective. I mean, fuckery unchained.
I was watching reality. I was watching reality of how that dude was going around with a gun on Facebook. That was reality, and then
Oh,
watching
that was
another
reality.
reality.
But
Yeah,
was it
The dude in
politics?
New Zealand.
yeah, that was reality.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
it was
saying?
politics
Honestly,
too because he,
to me, I didn't really give a shit, but it was like, what that had to do with us? Like, that ain't my fight. That's not something that happened in my backyard or my.
Candace Owens, a black woman, was implicated as an influence to this guy.
Right.
Well, and as a black woman, should she have to take that shit?
Should she
That's
have
very
to?
wrong. When a white
Right.
man goes and kills a lot of people, and then a black woman is pointed out as the influence and the inspiration, and I don't think that's right at all. Don't you think we ought to defend people like that?
Honestly,
Wait a minute.
and I
They
and, I,
tried to put
and
that on
honest,
a black woman?
Candace
well,
Owens, Miss
well, yeah,
Conservative, and that's a
well, yeah, no,
conservative too.
honestly, well, yeah, they do. They do try to put stuff on black people anyway. I mean, honestly, they try to incite that Malcolm X was saying to go do shit. If anything, don't matter what you say
Malcolm
on your
X.
political platform. Yeah, they try to say Malcolm X was all about telling black people to harm white people. And honestly, Malcolm X was going to tell black people like, listen, do for
Well,
yourself.
those
Don't deal with the
people are
white people.
glad the situation turned out like it did, didn't it?
What people?
I said those people that you're talking about, said bad things about Malcolm X. Malcolm X was assassinated, so that was no longer their problem.
Get your hand out
Yeah.
my pocket.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was no longer their problem. Just like they were happy when King was killed too, and Malcolm was like, I can't believe they killed King. Like, I mean, honestly, I mean, why would we be happy for any black person's demise? Why would we? I mean, honestly, we
What
were
black
happy
word?
to see it. Why would we? I mean, honestly, I may not like people. I may not like certain people, but I would never wish for their failure, especially a black person, because the same day they fuck up, tomorrow could be my fuckery. So I watch many men and women talk that good shit and all that good jazz. But then again, at the end of the day, like, yo, you could be your day tomorrow. So as long as they stay clear and I stay clear on my stoop, we good. Like, it is what it is. That's just the name of the game. For some people, ooh, I'm buying that. But for the most part, I mean, what y'all talking about? Single mothers? Is that what y'all talk about? Single mothers
No, no,
not
no, no,
knowing
no,
who their
no, no.
father is?
I'm responding. I'm responding to a sentiment that I've been
Yeah.
hearing all over social media about, black men this, black men that, defeated. We're not leading.
That's
We want to get to the bottom of this shit because, in my situation and the situation of many others, this is not the case at all. I mean, whether you consider me a leader or not, I mean, I'm not out here doing fucked up shit. So if we
mm,
are men is failing, I want to get to the very fucking bottom of it. And there's
okay.
a lot of people that have had a lot of words about what we're doing as black men for that failure to happen.
Now,
And
is it black people? Is it now? Let's hit at that. Let's hit at that. What you're saying? Is it black people that are talking about black people, or is it
oh, okay,
people in
okay, no, no,
general?
no, no. Black people, black YouTube,
Okay,
black YouTube,
okay.
black Facebook, black Instagram, black
I didn't know we
Twitter.
had a black Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Black social media, period.
black social media.
Okay, then
Period.
okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
you may not be on that community shit for real, man. But yeah, you know what? When you separate everything by demographic and race, shit, everybody who's this skin tone and all the shades that come with it, you have to consider that because of the
Yeah,
racial divide in this country.
that's
We're
true.
not doing that fucking shit. Like, yeah. So so I'm just saying what the situation is. Yeah, there is
I
a black Instagram. I mean, there are black television channels. So when you say stuff like black male talk and black men
yep.
being brutally honest, yes, you're talking about race.
I
That's
think
our
we I
primary
think
concern.
okay, so let's take a jab at that. So we're looking at the fact that black let's look at black community as a whole is spouting out that black men you're not leading. And I think it's
I
now
don't
come
think
to
it's a black
the
community as a whole. Now,
no, it is a
hold
black
It's
up,
community.
black
break
Why
down
did
that
women,
shit.
well
but it's
no
not
well,
black
well
men
okay
aren't
so why
screaming
so
out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
why did you say black woman? You should have said black women. Don't say black media because that's what you said. You should have said black women. Thank you for clearing that up. If you're gonna say black women are saying that, then just say black women are saying that. Then now that's actually
No, 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 no,
pushing.
no, no, no. That's the
No.
point. No, that's
Okay,
the
then
point.
make sure
That's the point he was
you
making.
gotta
Hold up, hold
then
up,
make sure
hold
you
up,
say
homie.
then make sure you say that. Then
Hold
make
up,
sure you
homie.
say that.
Hold up, homie. Hold up, homie. I said black social media, and what
Okay,
I
so
mean
you
by
say that.
black, and what I say about black social media, and I'm gonna point out a couple groups in this black social media are
Go
these
ahead.
bitter ass black women, and I'm saying bitter ass as an adjective to describe that group of people because you got good black women out there, and I received a
Mm.
long ass comment from a good black woman in that group saying that how she feels that other women in the group are targeting her just because she goes to bat for black men. Not saying standing up for black men, standing by black men, because that's
Mm.
what we're asking. Like not even so much asking. If you do it, we can identify you. If you
Is
don't
it
do it,
is it
stay over there.
is
But
this is okay?
but at the same time, dude, here's the question: are the majority of black moms raising black boys to lead? And from what I can see in all these fucking complaints out here,
No,
no,
no.
no, not at all. And don't say it's not. And if they didn't set it up for a man to be president, don't say it ain't their responsibility because I hear that shit a lot too. So I mean, because it is. Back in the day, in the Jim Crow South there, when all of those black fathers were being lynched, they had those women. A large majority of them stepped up. I have to say that. And I have to say a lot of that is a lost art. Now I'm not saying that,
Go
and
ahead.
nobody's saying nobody's blaming women for everything. Nobody's doing that shit. But at the same goddamn time, you gotta ask these questions. If they're not setting their situation up, then why are you sitting up here blaming people like me or getting mad at people like me for saying stuff like that?
So
Like,
you're saying people are blaming you for
get the fuck out of here, dude. I didn't say people are blaming me.
I,
Like seriously,
I'm
like
asking you a
I might,
question. Are
I
you
say the
still
forward to correct myself. So like, hold up, homie.
okay?
Like I
Go
corrected
ahead.
myself. Okay. So
Joe,
why?
the point
But,
is, why are black women saying that black men are messed up? Where is that coming from?
Okay, thank you, Roger. That's the question you wanted to ask me. Thank you. Why are black women saying black men are messed up? Black is that the question? Right. I want to make sure.
And where is it coming from? How are they coming to this conclusion? What's
All right.
going
Thank
on?
you,
What's
Roger.
behind the fact that the black men are messed up? What is the behind?
since all we do is
Okay.
catch
Okay.
black people and shit. I want to hear this.
Kev. Let me answer the question. Yeah. Damn. Shit. So the reason why they're saying that is one. First of all, black women are being pushed out of other communities that they're trying to go to. They're
What
being pushed
communities are
out.
black women trying to go to?
Boy, they trying. They trying.
No, no,
Uh,
I give them credit. They
so
might they trying.
they trying. So what happens is what's going on, Roger, is you notice that you see in a lot of these black women trying to go do the swirling with whites, Asians, and different stuff. Now, they don't have that type of pull in those communities because those women in those communities are like, hold up, you're not about to come in my community and wreck the same kind of shit you got going on with your man. Okay. So they're like, well, then I got to go back to that black man. Now, to go back to that black man, they have to look at stuff that they possibly have done and things that they already have going on back at home. It's like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like you trying to go to another home to stay there, but they're like, nah, you got to go back to your own house. So when they go back there, they have to understand that, well, the black man that's there, A, is one, either not trying to marry them, not trying to do business with them, and not trying to take up for them. So when you look at that, the black men, when they see black men interact with other women of other diversities, and they're like, hold up, how is it whenever this black man is doing certain things with these type of women, like why are we getting that same type of light shown? Which I do think it is a social type of media presence because, excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Whenever you know, if you look at a lot of social media outlets and you look at the figures, when you look at the social media outlets and figures, like on Disney Channel, you know that they're showing more swirling. You know they're showing more swirling on Disney Channel. You know
Well,
they're showing
hold
more
on,
stuff
Joe.
like
Hold
that.
on, Joe. Real quick, Joe. Real
Go
quick,
ahead.
before you stretch too far away from it. When black women deal with try to go inside of other communities, I don't see any presence of the women putting them out of those communities. They're trying to
What?
attach themselves to men of other communities, but the men just don't want them. I don't see the women being the women of those communities being a problem. The men of the other communities don't want them there.
No, no, no. See, that's the thing. You just said what I said, Roger. I just said whenever let's say a black woman is trying. You ever seen a black woman go into a Latino community and run that shit like they
No,
run a black community?
I'm saying maybe you meant to say it a different way, but you said the
Yeah,
women of other communities were pushing them out. What I'm
yeah,
saying
they
is
are.
I don't think the women of the communities are the problem. It's the fact that the men of those other communities don't want them there in the first place.
Well, right. Well, in a sense, it's still the men of most of those communities are still in the dominatory presence. Now, if we want to say white society, the older white society is still ever so strong. Like they're just not giving up their old. They're still clinging onto an old legacy. But as far as the Latino, the Asian, and all them, and the Arab, Aramaic, they're not letting black women run up in their shit and run their shit like they do in our communities. So what that happens is they try to go back to the black man that they did not properly teach to compete. And they say, well, why ain't you doing? Now, what you got going on right now is you're looking at the mainest outcry is the older black woman who is at a point in her life where, damn, I got all this shit going, but I don't got no man. Like, what the fuck? And why is this younger man trying to fuck with an older woman like me? Because a lot of older black men, if they have the assets and tools, they can easily just traverse into another community and go probably, if they got it, they can probably go get a female. She's like, well, why are you going outside your community? Why aren't you fucking with me? She's like, I just don't got to. I mean, I see how you are. So in that sense, black women now understand that, yo, I didn't raise the black men to fuck with me. I really didn't. If anything, it's kind of the polar opposite. You raise them to be bitches, and you raise them, a lot of them, to actually resent the black woman in a sense.
Oh, okay. So would you say that coddling does that? Would you agree that a lot of our young men are coddled, therefore leading to these little selfish ass behaviors?
What do you mean by coddle? Like, I mean, could you go into depth about the coddle thing?
Coddled. Okay, like, all right. I consider a young man that's been coddled. It's like the young black man you see on the first 48 when he shoots up a little girl's birthday party. The first thing that he usually says on camera is, "I want to call my mom." Now, do you think that as a mother that has coddled that motherfucker? If that's the first thing he's gonna say
Nah, I don't see him saying
after
that.
shooting up a little girl's birthday party, being a badass, because badasses aren't supposed to need their mothers, are they?
I No, I
I
don't
mean,
think you're
and
supposed
just
to.
for
But
and
I never really heard no black man. I never really heard no black man when he, really. I've never seen no black man when they get into like some kind of dirt. I need to call my mama. Like I don't really see
I'm
them
just
doing
saying,
that.
like, these were No, I'm just saying. I'm just stating the actual case on the show, the first 48, and
Okay.
is the first 48 fabricated or are those real cases? Let's get our facts straight.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna fall due for when to call his mama because that's that instinctual. You go back into baby mode because the shit's finna hit you over the head.
I mean,
Now,
that's not somebody I consider that was taught to be a man.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not calling my mama no,
I mean,
but
that's evidence of a nigga that was
people
caught.
break.
I'm sorry.
People break. So I'm gonna say he broke in that situation because I don't think he was really aware. Because the old adage is if you do dirt like a man and it comes down, you need to do your time like a man. You need to face your situation like a man.
But that's something men teach, though. That's something men teach. Women don't teach that.
But
Does a man have to learn that from a man, or can a man learn that by himself?
this thing, I always say this, and I said this on Roger's show. When you hit 18, you don't evolve into a Manosaur like a Pokemon. You know what I mean? You have to be taught these things. You have to be trained in this way. You have to be brought up by a man. And a lot of these women discount this by saying, "Oh well, yeah, there's plenty of men around me. I got a grandfather and a cousin and an uncle and a neighbor, and that'll none of that takes the place of men because they're not having the conversations that a father has with his child. They're not there with the child as much as a father is there with his child. So it long term, if you don't have a male influence in your life that really is a father, you don't get certain perks. You're not able to be groomed into a certain way or become a certain type of man. You're gonna be struggling when you hit 18, and the problem is he's gonna be tried as an adult, so he immediately went into mama. He went into mama mode, and he broke. I mean, shit, it happens, nigga. But what was the conversation he had with his mama? Hey, look, mama, I'm gonna be gone for a little while. I just want you to know I love you. Hold it down for me.
Hey, you know what though? You know what though? You know what though? We need to make a choice if we want if we want to raise our children to lead and to not do fucked up shit, or the system is going to do it for us. If we don't first teach them to make good decisions and such, then somebody in prison gonna beat his ass and make him do it. When they release him back into society, he won't do it again. See, do you know what types those are? Looney Tune characters, but that's neither here nor there. But as far as like I said, as far as the whole leadership thing, yeah, I think especially in our community with all the narratives going, we definitely, we definitely need to find a way to solve this. I'll put it like that. If it's that big a deal, if it's that much of a shitstorm, um, I don't know if you can't talk to these women about the children, then what can you do? I mean, I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I can't go to little Jimmy across town, who may be going on the wrong path, and hold his hand and walk him around the corner and say, "Hey, little man, go to college." I can't do that. I mean, I may not have the time. It's not that I don't know. It's not that I don't want to do it. So, I mean, what other? Let's think of another way.
No,
Because
I mean,
you have to take into account that a lot of men have their own lives. You know, what do we do? Do we just sit here and take it? Think you may have another. I want to know.
no. At the end of the day, regardless of how unpopular stuff is being made out to be, mothers got to learn how to simply have their children by men they care. And if anybody has a problem with it because it does pertain mostly into a single mother situation, then basically you got to stop being a girl in spirit yourself. We need men in the community, and if you're gonna have men, men have to be produced by other men. And if you go out your way to make sure there's no man involved when a boy is being raised, then but you actually want a man, then you're a fool. Because only a fool does the exact opposite of the result that they're trying to get to. You see what I'm saying? If I want scrambled eggs, the first thing I'm gonna do is get an egg. I'm not gonna go buy a tire. That's not gonna get me scrambled eggs. So At the end of the day, we got to do what we if we serious about it, we got to do what's necessary. And if as long as we act like it's not necessary to do these right things, we're gonna continue to have problems. So at the end of the day, I'll say it. If women want real men in the black community, since that's what they complain about, they need to start sleeping with the men that they feel are real men and have babies by those men. Simple as that. But you're not gonna get it no other way because we're in a community that's not being regulated by the government. You know, you're free to sleep with who you want to sleep with. So your power, your responsibility. Just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, as a man who made it his responsibility, you know, that you know, I think we're all saying that. So, I mean, you know, it just, I don't know. Maybe this needs to be. I don't know.
Well, I think some of the issues that people don't want to accept the fact that some of these men are gonna fail and they ain't gonna make it because they're not gonna learn enough in time enough. At the end of the day, you're gonna have some bad little kids that didn't really have no father in their life, and they're gonna break into somebody's home. They're gonna get shot and they're gonna get killed. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, that's life. It's not fair. It's tough. Now, do I want a brother to get shot? No, I don't.
No, I
But do I
don't.
want a brother to get robbed? No, I don't.
Nope.
But somebody gonna have to lose at the end of the day. And if I gotta pick the person I want to win, I'd rather be the man who's doing the things he's supposed to be doing to make our society better, not the guy who's doing stuff to make our society worse.
Mm-hmm. So
The problem with that is a lot of these women have a different perception of what a man is. So they see a stand up strong or man as what you would traditionally see as a jail nigga, for lack of a better word. So habitual jail nigga, what are the characteristics he displays? He's aggressive. He's not gonna take no shit from nobody. He's willing to go to jail for his. He will attack, fight, do whatever he needs to. So that gives that woman that sense of protection, knowing that her jail nigga is willing to put himself in jail for her. Although this is just what he do. He's very emotional. He goes off with the handle. So that's already, you know, a feminine trait. He's not able to logically think and move in a manner that's going to be productive to his family, to his life. He's going to go out and go get money, whatever the situation is. What he got to sell, don't do whatever he do. That's a strong man to her. And the dynamic of a educated, or maybe not even educated, just a everyday working Joe seems weak to her.
Well, we're not saying that Joe seems weak to her. We're
No.
saying like that, you know, that's a name that you know, we're not saying that. We're saying an average everyday. Well, Joe knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, Joe ain't stupid.
No, he's not.
Well, I'm gonna say this though, because that narrative, I believe, is just a narrative that women put out. Women don't really feel that, because if they really felt like the habitual jail nigga could protect them, then they will require protection from that nigga, and they don't. When habitual jail niggas around them, they don't expect nothing out of him. If he get moved on by other niggas, he just a beat nigga. That's all it is to it. If he gets shot and killed, he just a dead nigga. That's all it is to it. At the end of the day, when he can't provide for her, or she needs something for her kids, whatever the case is, what does she do? She go have sex with another nigga. So at the end of the day, they don't really respect those niggas. They just say that narrative because it sounds good.
Okay, so I what I wanted to say is I believe that to an extent. If he get killed, if he just double place his ass, don't move around, okay, I will say that. But if you get into an argument with a chick and she got a jail nigga, what's first she gonna do? She gonna tell the jail nigga, and she gonna say it in a manner or a way that's going to provoke him to come at you, satisfying her needs. Anytime some shit happens, what's the first thing they want a black man to do? You should have shot that nigga. Oh, you should have done this. That those are all the qualifications of a jail nigga. That's what he does.
No, I get that, but I'm saying even in the
Goon
context
squad,
of
man, that's what they call it, goon squad.
yeah. But the thing is, even if they get into an argument, she'll argue with a nigga like that because she already sees him in a weak position. And as soon as he does something that she don't like, what does she do? You better shut up or I'm gonna call the police on you. You better do exactly what I said, or I'm gonna have the cops on you. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
but
she's
I
a
mean,
jail nigga's easily controlled in that mindset because the jail
I've
nigga's
had,
got charges,
I've had,
everything else, so she can
yeah,
control him.
but I'm
But
saying,
if she
but that
sick him
shows
on you, that's her pit bull.
no,
I've had,
I get that. But I'm saying that's proof that she has no fear of that nigga. She don't really look at him as any type of level of strength. She look at him like he a punk.
I've had a couple. I've had a couple of associates like that, and I'm sorry, I'm not able to provide pictures or official documentation of this, but I'm just saying I can tell you from life experience that sometimes it is like that, and it's nothing that I could have ever helped. It's just that when it impacts kids and and then these are the same kids, or maybe not, that you have to go to school with, go to the local parks with, go to the same malls, the same, eventually the same bars and everything if they're not in jail by then. So I mean, we want what's best for our kids, and that's the kind of shit that I'm on. I mean, if the majority of black men are failing children, I would like to know why. And if a child is failing under a single mother, then whose failure is that? Seriously, you can't just put it on him. So, I mean, if you're saying that these men don't leave and all this other stuff, then who's raising these men not to leave? Let's just say it like that. Because granted, I ever had a son, which I have a daughter. I mean, I would feel like it is easier said than done, or actually exposed to the situation. But if my child aren't leaders, I would feel a failure. Period. And it's you'll love the child, but I mean, how can you not feel that failure?
Well, I'm gonna say
Shahrazad
this.
Ali,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Shahrazad Ali said, "For there to be a whole lot of no good niggas around here, y'all sure do stay pregnant."
Well, I mean that kind of goes into what I'm saying because I was gonna say that at the end of well, no, it's a little bit different, but see, women have a built-in safety net because when they fail as mothers, they say, "Well, I failed because the father wasn't there." Now,
No,
you know what I'm saying? So that's a safety
they
net.
don't even say I failed. They don't even say I failed because the father was there. They just say the father ain't there.
It takes two.
Well, yeah. Well,
So
put it like this: when anybody else starts pointing out the fact how they are a failure as a mother, then they start saying stuff about the father isn't there. But in real life, when you are you're the person that determines the outcome of that thing. So if
I
the
mean,
father isn't there, that means the father couldn't wreck the child. You wrecked the child.
I guess I got to catch. I guess I got to catch these women before they sleep with these guys instead of after when they sleep with these guys. Oh no, I catch the guys, not the women. I mean, both of them can offer a good word of advice. It's up to them to take it. But what? Hey, can somebody put their computer on mute, please? Because I hear feedback. Right. Okay, but what I was saying was, I mean, I forgot. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. I mean, um, but anyway, it's just like, damn, just set yourself up in a situation where a man can be there for your child. I mean, there's lots of benefits to that. I mean, I understand that there may be those women that don't necessarily want to be with a man or whatever, but we got to do something for the kids, especially if they were boys. I mean, yeah, girls, yeah, we do them for them too. I have a daughter. I mean, I'm going to protect the hell out of her. And if somebody tries some shit on her, bam. So that's no problem with me. I know how to protect women. It's just that I don't want to see our boys failing. It's like if there's anything I can do to make sure that doesn't happen, that is within my abilities and not a forced responsibility, then I'll do it. Then I'll do it. But outside of that, Y'all need to start setting yourselves up to be family again. And that's not a choice that I can make for you. I'm just on the outside looking in. I know what works for me, and I know what's worked for a lot of people. So I mean, if our black boys aren't coming up as leaders, we need to nip that shit in the bud and make sure that we are, raising guys not at least not to lead others, but to at least lead themselves.
Well, you know what the thing is, people have to want to raise their children better, and they gotta have that desire. And truth be told, they just don't really have that desire to raise a because raising a child the proper way takes a lot of effort, takes money, it takes, what I'm saying, some sleepless nights. It takes a lot of sweating and worrying about certain situations. It takes a lot of dealing with stuff that come out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They mess around and mess up the neighbor's car. And now you got to pay for it, and it's a lot to dealing with a child and raising them right. And most of the if you have a bad child, most of those mothers they just don't care. I'm not gonna say all of them, but the ones with the bad children, they don't really care about them kids
Those
like that.
children those children typically are neglected. They don't receive love, attention, or care. So when a child acts out, 90% of the time he's doing it to get attention. So if you ever notice a child that misbehaves, a child misbehaves because they're gonna get in trouble for misbehaving, which means the parent has to pay attention to them. So a child oftentimes will act out just to get attention to them, and then it becomes a pattern in life, and they're no longer seeking attention. It's just how they move.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, my thing is, you gotta care in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women, they're just having babies just because they don't care nothing about um protecting their bodies from having a child in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like the goal. So who do you have a baby with if your goal is to have a baby? You go get the most reckless nigga you can find that'll give you sperm without worrying about consequences.
No, let's talk about another side to this. Okay, say that the mom is married, but the father's always gone. Like, and this is for the majority of the child's youth. What can you think can happen with that? I mean, father shows up every now and again. I mean, from his job, maybe he's a career military person. I mean, and the wife, they can't carry their family around on the tours and everything, military tours. But what if that was the case? I
But
mean, and no, this is not this is not. That's why I said moms. Now, this is no knock. This is no knock on black moms. It's not. It's not. But when you involve children, there has to be a parent. So I was just saying, what if, like, okay, the dad was always gone. He was like major ass fucking job, has him on the other side of the world. What do you think can happen to the child in that case if the child goes astray? That's a
That,
two parent arrangement now.
those so it's the same thing. The parents is gonna the child's gonna see a little bit of a different dynamic simply because when the father is home, he's supposed to see his father loving his mother, so he sees that dynamic. Now, are there going to be problems with that? Yeah, we can say that. I think it's safe to say there's going to be issues with that because your father's always gone. So, the father's ultimately going to have to pay for that. That's on the father. That's on the mother for allowing the father. But we're going to say that's majority on the father here. Um, the father's there. The child's probably going to have some resentment towards the father. But the child is also going to know the dynamic of a mother and father relationship where the father is married to the mother, etc. Um, I guess long term it's close to what a quote unquote co-parent situation is, but um, that's a situation where the child is basically being neglected by the father. So there's going to be some issues there because of that, but he's going to have a little bit more, or he or she, should I say, he's going to have a little bit
Mhm.
more of an understanding of what a mother-father relationship is than a just straight up co-parent relationship.
Mhm.
It varies. It's a varied situation. Uh,
That's pretty much how that balls out. Depending on the communication of the child and the parent. I mean, like I said, I've done travel the world many times, and shit. I mean, it depends on. I mean, I don't know. Some people run their house. So I speak from my own experience. I talk to a lot of guys who we travel the world. Shit, we could be at home. Then we next morning, shit, we sit right there on the beaches of Korea. So, I mean, honestly, it depends on the age of the child and the concepts that you build the kids. Some kids, they're not bothered. They're like, well, daddy's gone. Would I like to see my dad? Yeah, but I'm not gonna get to see him. So I have to make something work and spend the time I can. And it's up to that parent if they're going to try to initiate that type of thing. Now, then you'll also get it where if it's a teenager, that's a different aspect because then you're dealing with a boy who is going to be feeling himself as if he it can be the man of the house, or you know what, dad's not here, so I have to step up and assume responsibility. And it's up to that man now. If it's up to that man to speak on on that kind of conflict and check the situation, if he does, or if he is he too in tune to his work, where he's overlooking that it's a because running a household and running a family are two different jobs that a lot of men, if they're tied up in their work, they overassume and overlook. Um, and I mean, I've seen this time and time again with teenage boys. You know, I hate my dad, or my dad, he's ruining things. And you know, usually you got to check the boy and let him know, like, listen, like I get it. You had to hold down. You did a good job, but I'm back now. And I mean, but you got to learn that also you can't just think, well, I'm a man. I'm coming back into the house. That shit's going to automatically just fall right back into my lap because what they had to do to survive is not with you in place. If you didn't set up a viable system, and that's the problem with a lot of our brothers nowadays, they think that the house is automatically going to operate within their marketable favor, but they didn't establish dominance there, and that can greatly influence the behavior of the children as well as the woman. So in that aspect, you just gotta take it. It's a toss up. It's a toss up case. Daughters, that's a very tricky one because shit, they can go any old type of way, depending on how the father interacts with his daughter and how he possibly preparates her for society. So that's it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say it like this. To me, from a realistic standpoint, because you said a married man who happens to be in the military. Now, in every situation that I personally know, and I know about a lot of them that I'm not personal to,
You said
order.
realistic standpoint. So you're
Yeah,
saying
I'm
that
saying
when I
realistic.
so you saying when I said wasn't realistic.
Not real. Not. I wouldn't view that as realistic. But
Were
I'm,
you in the
and
military?
you'll hear why in a second. You'll hear why in
Go
a
ahead.
second.
I would like to hear this.
When you're talking about a married couple, even if the father has a job where he's going to go away for a long period of time, like military or pro athlete or anything like that, that's going to keep him away from the home a big percentage of the time. In those type of situations, usually you're gonna have the marriage and the kids come about the same time. Whether they had the kid right before they got married, or they got married then start having the kids right after the marriage. By the time the child grows up old enough to understand certain things, the order is already going to be set in place. The man is already going to be at the head of the household, whether he's in place in physically or not. And order has already been established. And if when something goes on and they need the father's input, they're going to call him. Whatever the case is, he'll say whatever it is that he needs to say, and they're going to use that for a situation where they deem it's actually really important that you need the father's input at that particular time, because most stuff is already
Mm.
going to be set and laid down in the order where they already going to know what they're supposed to do based on what comes up. I've never personally known of anyone who was married in the military and had to go away for long periods of time whose home was not in order. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it can't happen, You know what I'm saying? Because anything can happen. Because like I always like to use the example, you can still find a human with no legs, even though we know humans are generally
I
born with
mean, do you
legs.
know how many military people, kids have mental problems, psychological abuse, drugs?
Bro,
That
the thing is, he
we
said a
literally have a
specific
song.
group.
We
He said a
literally have a
specific.
song called Jody. That's for women who fuck when the
Hold
husband
on, hold
leaves
on.
and picks up.
We
So
we literally said a situation where you're talking about a married couple. We're not just talking about any couple. We're talking
that
about
is
a
a married
married
couple.
couple. Therefore, the fuckery that you're speaking of, it doesn't happen as much in actual
Yes,
married
actually
couples
it
as it
does.
does in just any random military family.
No, it actually does. That's literally more military families get divorced more than anything because the man is literally not at the home like he should be or could be. So they have all kind of problems. Literally,
No,
we
no,
have a cadence called Jody.
I
So I'm trying
understand.
to figure
I
out when you're
understand.
speaking, are you
No, no,
speaking
no,
from
bro,
experience or what you thinking of?
bro, you're not saying anything wrong or counter to what I just said. When you're talking about a military family, we're not talking about people that's divorced. We're talking about a military family. When you start talking about people that got divorced, you're talking about people that's no longer family.
You know what? You know
No,
what? You know what? You know what?
they
You know
can
what?
still be together and they still be happening.
You know what though? You know what though? I've had two military families in my family. That's one of those families is my mother, and another one of them is my uncle. My mother, granddaddy, he served in the military, and my uncle, he served in the military with his children, and
Mm.
I can tell you the kids turned out good. so, and they were, the uncle he always moved around, and my granddaddy was always gone. So,
Okay.
yeah, but I don't know if that applies to today's rules. But I just
Uh,
wanted to throw two good examples out there.
I
What
mean, and
what
that I mean that's I mean we're not going to say that there's not no happy endings, but we're not going to pretend that literally before a lot of soldiers start deploying or start leaving off, we literally have to sit down with them and say, listen, let me give you the worst case scenario and let me let you know that listen, if you got teenager sons, come on into this room, let's talk. You got daughters, I need to preparate you in case you see something on social media that you might not like and that we need to let you know like yo like this is how you need to handle it because there's a lot of stuff especially in today I mean like I said I'm not discounting none of y'all but I mean I like I said I sat with these soldiers. I teach these men how to actually have to deal with these type of situations. This is not just something, and I'm speaking for the black men who get married young and they think that yo within the first I'll say it takes a good 7 years to really get in tune to what the fuck that woman is doing when you're married to her. And a lot of these brothers, they go off on deployments. They can't take the woman with her. So that type of leadership that they're trying to establish is not properly implemented. So this is why a lot
Well,
of
Joe,
brothers,
no one's debating the fact that you're gonna
yeah,
have some men that's not gonna be in a good situation in their home life. We're not debating that fact. What I'm simply saying is when it comes to when you have a military family where you have a man and a woman that gets married and then they start having children or they had children right before they got married, where the children are still young. As those children come of age, order has already been established when it comes to that household. And even if you go to the point of them getting divorced, where they're no longer a family anymore, when it comes to the children, this order has already been established at that point. Now, yes, you're gonna have some bad kids out there that's just gonna rebel because there's always kids that's gonna rebel. We're not gonna act like they don't exist. Yes, they're gonna happen. But I'm saying on a general level, when you raise a family, and even if you do have a job that takes you away from your home life or a significant amount of days of the year, you're still gonna have order at that home because that's what men bring. Men bring order.
mm, well, in a perfect world, I would somewhat agree. Men bring a type of order, but when we're looking at statistical data right now, and the type of men that are going into the military right now, you got a lot of young men who are going in. They're making the fast money. Well, oh now I'm bringing in $2,500. Now I have options. If I don't like this bitch, fuck her. I can go off and do me. And I try to tell a lot of brothers, now that you have this money, understand. she knows what you're making with that BAH and that pocket money.
So
So either you gonna be in that home or you're not gonna be in that home. But you gotta understand that you putting your livelihood at risk. This is why we don't discourage brothers from not getting married, but we say if you're gonna get married, understand that's gonna take time from your career as whatever you're trying to do in the military because she knows you making money. And if you fuck up and she can prove it or she can make you look bad, then she's gonna go after that money. So a lot of brothers they have to be on guard because divorce in the military for a lot of black men, that shit be hitting them hard. So either they better be on their best behavior. Now the dominance thing, I'm not refuting what you're saying, Roger. I'm just saying that more money, different problems. That's just all it is when it comes to having a black home. Like I agree that yeah, you can establish that dominance, you can speak that truth. Now, what Kev was saying back then, a lot of brothers who got married, they weren't divorcing their women like that. But they know like shit, I got this girl right here. Why am I that why would I divorce her? Hell, a lot of men, my granddad included, some of them they had damn side chicks. They ain't listen, they had that damn woman, they had a whole other family on the other
so let
goddamn
me ask you a
continent.
question. Let me ask you a question, Joe.
What's up?
Does that hurt parenting?
Was that her parenting?
Does that hurt parenting?
Nah, it's just the person being a person. It ain't got nothing to do with her. Why it gotta be her parenting? That just mean I got money. I can go do me. Ain't nothing shit ain't wrong with that. I mean, you gonna do you. A man gonna do what the fuck he wanna do. If that just how that gotta be her parenting. Like
I
if
think
a
he's
man
talking about
do
relationship to the kids, man.
that her parenting?
No,
No.
not hurt. Like parenting. Does that hurt
Does
parenting?
that her
What you
parent?
were
Yeah, it
talking
does.
about? Hurt. HURT.
No, okay. Does that hurt parenting? Okay, I'm about to say we thought you said her parenting. Um yeah, it does in a sense it does hurt parenting. Well, it can because sometimes one child can feel like one household is getting more affection than another. And this holds true, especially in the black community, where some kids, if the father's more so in the home, or he's out and about doing other things, taking pictures, having a life, and his kids are seeing that shit, and they're like, "Yo, I'm at home, and daddy ain't suffering out with mama and me. Fuck that dude." And that's when we got to deal with the situation.
But
And I
but
see
but
it
you mentioned two. You mentioned two families, right? A man
right.
having two families. That does that mean that he's maintaining two families? There has to be some a pretty a sharp brother to do so. Have
Fuck
two
no.
families.
Fuck no. Even the dumbest nigga can
But
damn
you know
be in two houses.
but oh, okay, so I'm using the choice word I'm using is family, right? I mean,
I mean, it depends on how you want to look at the fact. I mean, I guess if you want to say, yeah, he
I hold the
maintained,
word. Let me put it like this: I hold the word family in high regard.
uh, that's not okay.
Well, I mean, good family or bad family. Family. Family is a
Same or
word
same.
that to me is synonymous with togetherness. And
Right.
for a man to have two families, that has to take a pretty together brother to do so. I mean, to maintain or he could just have like kids in one household and then just pay attention to I don't know. Maybe I went too far left with
I,
that one. So
not,
No,
not, 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 so,
I wouldn't
not
say
really.
so. How do you
Not
have a
really.
family without a sense of togetherness and a sense of pride for who we are as a people? You can't be a family if you don't mess with your brother, mess with your sister, or don't acknowledge your daddy or don't acknowledge your mom. That's not a family. That's just niggas.
Nah, I mean I don't see that because people get rid of their family members all the time. People is toxic. People get crackhead cousins and relatives and shit. You gotta cut them
Yeah.
people out sometimes.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
but that's being considered booted out the family.
I'm gonna say it like this: if you grew up and you found out your dad was raising a whole nother family behind your mama back, and she, they
at this
came up
point,
and they claimed your shit, and you like, hold up, daddy ain't never talked about this shit. That whole aspect of how you view family, that shit gonna turn 180 in a heartbeat. Because you gonna be like, hold up, nigga, you been doing this shit behind mama's back? Like, no. But we ain't gonna pretend like sometimes that shit don't happen. Now, it's kind of hard for a woman to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, good luck having two babies. I mean, but then again, now women do that shit because there are some women who have a baby with another nigga and knowingly don't say nothing and have that one man raise that baby, and they
Yeah,
just
that
play it like, well,
yeah
it
that
just
happens all the time.
that
I
happens a
got
lot.
a I have
So,
a cousin in Houston. He a crash test dummy. He's adopted. So we get this clear. uh,
uh
he's a crash test dummy on all sides.
so,
This nigga basically went out and got this chick pregnant.
mm.
He moved in with her family. Her
Oh shit.
family was very religious, so he worked two jobs to support her because she wouldn't work. Um, so
Oh.
automatically off tops, he's in a household with her parents.
Uh-huh.
She don't work. He works two jobs to give her the wedding of her dreams.
That's a
They had a
mix.
little, yeah, it was stupid. So they had a shotgun wedding. He spent about, we estimate about $20,000 on this wedding.
Jesus Christ.
Right. So he, mind you, they live with her parents. He spent $20,000 on a wedding. That should have been spent on
Nigga,
a
that could have been
house.
a house.
Yeah, should have been a house, but he didn't do that. So he spent it on her wedding. They had the wedding of her dreams. 6 months later, they was divorced, or they were getting divorced.
Mm, mm.
In this time frame, she basically was being a thought about hers. She come up pregnant, so he claimed it. I said, "Fam, you think that's your baby?" Yes, my baby. Yeah, that's my baby. Now
Uh-huh.
the baby come out. The baby is the baby. First off, the baby has light brown blondish hair.
Oh shit.
That's a trait neither one of these niggas have. The baby has colored eyes. Neither one of these niggas have colored eyes. Uh, I really don't need to say much, but I mentioned to him a couple occasions. He wanted to cuss me out and fight me and do everything else about it. But that's not your baby, fam. Let's just be honest here. That's not your baby. I get genetic throwbacks. I get shit can happen. But have you had a DNA test? Nah, he didn't do it. Now, because he lives in the state of Texas, after 2 years, the baby's his. There was no
Uh-huh.
contesting it. He figured it out in the third year and wanted to get a DNA test. She was ducking
Too
and
late.
dodging his ass. So he went and got the DNA test done on the sly. And yeah, it's not his baby. But he's bound by law to pay for that baby for the rest of his life.
Jesus.
Right, that's what happened when you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? That's just an idiot story. Uh, you know what I'm saying? No, I mean,
But
no
that's
shade, but real talk, that's just an
No,
idiot story.
I tell him all the time, he's a fucking crash test dummy for that shit. He didn't question or nothing. Like, I hate to say it, but I plan on getting married. When we have a baby, I don't care if we trapped on a desert island for 6 months, a year. Uh, I'm getting a DNA test. Period. Point blank.
uh-huh.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't even know what to say about a guy that don't want DNA tests at this day and age. I don't even know what to say about a guy like that. That's a confusing, an extremely lost guy. But even when it comes to that type of stuff, what I'm saying is it's not going to be big and prevalent when you start talking about you know what I'm saying? Like folks in the military, don't get me wrong, you can have two families if you're going to be stationed somewhere long enough. Truck drivers do it sometimes because they
uh-huh.
drive back and forth. But this is not like that. What the average nigga is doing. The average nigga is not trying to support two families. Average nigga, you know what I'm saying, is trying to support themselves and their family, and that's it. He ain't trying to. We got enough problem where niggas don't even want to pay all these extra taxes because because other people done got pregnant by men and they ain't taking care of their own kids. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like folks ain't just trying to pay for other people like that. It's
You,
not real.
you,
It happens, but it's not like anywhere close to a majority.
what? Okay. So let me break it down. If you on paperwork have it down that you are married, okay? Let's say you write down that you're married. But then what happens is your old lady or whoever or some woman shows up and says, "Listen, Roger, I am the mother of Roger's child." Now they're gonna say, "Hold up, Roger, you married? Who the hell is this woman?" And you can't say that's none of your business because the
Well, I
military
know.
gonna be like, they gonna be like, "Nigga, you moving out that fucking house today." These women now own your paycheck. Like they will do all that damn grimy shit. So do I'm not gonna lie, do some men do it in the military? Yes, yes, they do try to run games.
because they go meet up with a bitch at the bar and say, "Listen, I got bread. What's good? I can take care of you and pay your cell phone bill and all that dumb shit." And you see, and I mean, honestly, hey, do you, nigga? I say play the game. But if that game come back at you, you know you ought to. I tell them your uniform is only but a paycheck to these bitches. That's honestly what I tell them. When women hear that you're an electrician or you do X, Y, and Z job, they are doing the net worth of your dick and how much they can cash off of that shit. That's all it is to it. Like we ain't gonna pretend like this shit is some imaginary Puff Go the Magic Dragon shit. But as far as establishing dominance,
No,
that like
I'm saying I agree with you. What you're saying is going to happen, but I'm saying that's not going to be the majority of the time because the military is structured that way. So a lot of niggas is trying to avoid that in the first place. They don't really want them problems. It's still gonna happen because it's always gonna be a nigga that's just gonna do something stupid. So I'll never act like it won't never ever happen. Some nigga gonna be stupid at some point. But is
but
that the majority of people in the military? I don't think so at all.
I mean, a lot of brothers nowadays, I tell them don't get married. Just listen, just get your pay, just get your money, get married outside the military. Like, if honestly,
in the
you can.
military.
Like, yeah, don't, yeah. Like I tell them, don't. A lot of the older brothers, we tell them don't get married because you can, but it's just the risk is just at a higher percentage. Like because no matter what you do, it's one thing when the state makes you pay. It's another thing, whereas to where they now you got the government who's like, yo, my nigga, you got paid. If you miss child support, the court, no, the UCMJ will make sure you pay that bitch, and you will get. They only got to give you enough money to buy damn soap and deodorant. That's it. They ain't got to give you shit else. Everything else you don't need food. You go to the DFAC and that's a fucked up damn system. I don't agree with it, but it
But
is what it is.
the military has a whole system where it's fucked up in general and it's romanticized that well, first off, the military picks on impoverished youths, right? So they send the military recruiters to neighborhoods that are pretty much fucked up to get young college kids, high school kids to get involved in the military. Because as soon as you get out, they be there. I don't know what your experience with a recruiter was, but I had a gang of recruiters coming trying to get me. Hey, listen, you want to join the military? We'll give you $5,000. You could buy a car with that. You could do this, da, da, da. And motherfuckers was going
Yeah.
out and getting a car and signing up for 4 years
Uh-huh.
of crazy shit. And when they did this, they had a little high school sweetheart, whoever the chick they was dating. And I knew a chick, actually, it was an ex of mine. She gamed this nigga all the way to fuck up because she knew the military game and it was fucked up. She had this dude sending her his checks while he was
Uh-huh.
out in the Middle East somewhere. So every time he got a check, he was sending her a couple thousand. Boom,
Yeah.
here,
Hmm.
take that. She had a whole boyfriend. So this nigga come back
Yep.
thinking
That's
this he
Jody.
fin.
That's
Yeah,
that's Jody. That's the song we sing, Jody.
this Jody, okay, yeah. So he sent the checks. He thinking he couldn't come back to baby, and she gonna tell him, "Oh, listen, I got a boyfriend. It's not gonna work." So now he
Hmm.
pissed off. She went to y'all go. What is it? An officers ball?
Hmm. Oh, she showed to the ball with a nigga, not him.
No, no.
Oh,
She showed up.
damn.
She showed up to his officer ball with him. But she had a whole boyfriend at the time. So I'm having this conversation with her because she man, she
He
was.
he trying to keep faith, man. He a whole bitch for that. He trying to keep faith.
Well, he didn't know this was during the whole thing. So when he actually got home and got done, um, he tried to link up with her, and she was like, "No, I had a boyfriend." So he had to eat that. Now, she was a flight attendant, so
That's the
flight
worst
attendants
ones.
flight attendants get benefits. You get flight benefits. So she made him pay for the flight benefits. I think she made him pay like 4,000. So what a lot of people don't know is typically it's not illegal, but the company finds out about it, they had your ass. So she got a fucked up attitude. She making this dude pay for the benefits. He called her like, "Hey, listen, I want to take a flight here." She's sick. She get an attitude with the dude. The dude like, "Listen, I paid you for these benefits, bitch. Book me my motherfucking flight."
Mm.
So she hung up on dude. Dude went back to his. If anybody has an iPhone, you can go back. Basically, as long as you had an iPhone in the conversation, He screenshotted all the conversations, sent it to her job, got her fired.
Yep.
But
That sounds fair to me.
that's the casualty. Dudes be in a position that's fucked up, and they just want somebody to write, somebody to have that romanticized view of I got this girl waiting on me. Oh, and women take advantage of this shit. But a lot of from what I'm seeing, a lot of these relationships in the military break up because of that.
Well, the thing is, a lot of women at this point just have a lot of options, and they're totally aware that they have a lot of options. So if you're not going to be there on an everyday basis, more than likely you shouldn't marry that woman. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a small percentage of women out there who can stick by their man no matter what's going down and no matter how long they have to be away. But for a lot of women nowadays, on the average level, because you got social media the way it is, they getting these likes and stuff, and they just go out here for attention and all that. Those particular women can't really handle it. You see some older women who still doing it, because I know a lot of good people that dealt with military families and all that. You know what I'm saying? I got cousins in it and all that type of stuff. So I know a ton of people who still doing everything the right way while they're in the military. Now, for the folks who are maybe like in they 25 and down right now, like I don't know about those guys. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have a little bit of a tougher time when it comes to their female situation, because females right now are just so used to getting attention all the time. You know, and my thing is, if men aren't taught how to tell if a woman needs attention versus a woman that wants your attention, then he runs into a problem. And because a lot of these brothers don't have fathers when they growing up, some of them don't know the difference, because it's a huge difference between a woman that needs your attention versus a woman that just needs attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, that was a great point, Roger. Listen up, I think I'm about to wrap this up, man. I mean, like I said, I've been on the road for like 9, 10 hours, and it's kind of catching up with me right now. So, all right, final thoughts, gentlemen. We're gonna wrap this up, and about that, and let's make this about the subject matter.
Um, well, damn. All right. Yeah.
I mean, no. Like, say what you want to say, but
No, it's true.
but you know,
Smart to
we want to
go.
make sure we want to make sure that we're sticking to what brought us here to this broadcast. Sorry, I didn't mean to seem so direct about it. So just like, well,
Okay,
well,
well,
well, well. No, no. Let me take that apology back, because somebody told me never be sorry for anything. So
nah, if you ain't sorry, don't be sorry. Heck no. You say if you
All
don't mean.
right. Well, let me take the lead. So basically, I think that a woman on her own can raise a productive leader,
man.
black male man. Um, Oftentimes it's going to be a no. I think she can raise a man who maybe can go back and forth to his job, or maybe get an education. But the qualities of a black male leader takes two for that. It especially takes a black male leader in his own life. Does it happen? Sure. Yeah. It's a few here and there. It definitely is. But as a whole, no, that's not a standard. That's not a normal thing. Point blank, period. Other than that, I ain't got much else to say. Donnie Casanova, you ain't shit for watching. Boom, boom, pow, 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 bang, hey. Donnie Casanova.
All right. Well, I'll say at the end of the day, if you have a problem on a consistent level, like I said, it's like when it comes to hiring. You can hire a bad employee here or there, but if all of them bad, then that's a management issue. So you got to look at things for what they are. Now, I would never recommend that a woman have a baby on her own without the father being there. and whoever you want to raise your child, that's the type of man you need to have the baby by. Just leave it at that. Um, can a woman raise a boy into manhood? Honestly, no. There's so much evidence that proves that that's not really possible. The only way that's going to happen if she's single but has a lot of other male influences coming along her life, and usually that child is still going to fall short, and he's really not going to learn to be a man until that age range somewhere between 18 to 25, and which is why I recommend to young ladies that if the man comes from a single mother, don't date him till he's at least 25 years old because he needs to be around some men and he needs to understand how the world works for men because it does not work the same for men and women. Because there's other dynamics that you got to deal with as well. So I'm never going to advise a woman to talk to a male that was raised by a single mom that's under 25 years old. He needs some experience in the world, you know. And if you look for leadership from a person who couldn't have possibly been prepared to be a leader, I think that's a poor decision on your part. Just that simple, you know. Now, based on statistics, are most black men leaders? I would have to say yes, based on statistics, because as a group, we're doing very well. And we're doing a lot better than propaganda is saying we're doing when you start looking at the numbers. So I'll leave it at that. I'm Roger. I'm right, and I'm out.
All right. BMT.
Um, nah, a woman is just she doesn't know how to properly raise a man. Just because she only knows how to raise the ideal man she would like to see. So, and that's kind of like making your own little Pinocchio. And we see now in society with a feministic type of leadership, it doesn't really work out well for a man that's in a world that's dominated by men. So it's a faulty type of improv that men are dealing with. So that would be honestly, no, it doesn't really work too well. So black men, no, that's why we've been failing because we've been more so domesticated under a female rule. So no, it doesn't really work too well. And black male leadership is at a like fucking drool low. So that's why we don't get taken seriously. All right, that's all.
Black male leadership is at a low. That's why we don't get taken seriously. Okay. I would say on the surface, but when it boils down to it, black male leadership is absolutely necessary. And one thing we need to do is we need to set our kids up to we need to set our black boys up to be those leaders or to contribute in a positive way. Because let's face it, everyone isn't geared to be a leader.
Yes,
Um,
I agree. I agree on that.
yeah, everyone isn't fit to be a leader, but but we all can affect some form of positive change. So, I mean, let's start doing what's best for our kids. Period. And all I can say is this: finger pointing, really, honestly, at the end of the day, is futile. But there's a something called finger pointing, and there's something called examination. We need to examine the situation properly. So if there's a group of women out there that are saying that, that black men aren't leaders, black men are not doing what they're supposed to do, and like I said earlier, you have to ask the question of who is raising them. How are we? What have we done? What kind of environment we set them up? Because
Mhm.
if you are tired of it, if you are tired of that shit, then you ought to want to do something about it. So let's look for actual correct answers to all of this. And
Okay.
that's pretty much it for the show with me. Pretty effing tired right now. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, thanks for thank let me thank my panel of the Roger Report, Donnie Casanova USG for watching, and Joe at BMT. Thanks for joining me once again.
Mhm.
Um, and out. Please like, share, subscribe, or don't. But thanks for tuning in. I'm Kev, and I have been brutally honest. Peace.